So we complained about the quality of the college football playoff games the whole way through the initial round, through the quarterfinals. But that first semifinal game last night, while it ended with controversy and had a little bit of controversy sprinkled throughout the course of that game in Arizona last night, it was an all-timer. Number 6, Ole Miss falls against, are we calling Miami a Cinderella? As the 10 seed, 31-27 in the Fiesta Bowl, and they cost Ole Miss a chance at their version of a Cinderella story, given all the different adversities that they've had to work through. It was a fun game, and again, we will talk about the officiating at the end that sent Miami to the national championship game, a game in which Miami will host at Hard Rock Stadium, pending the winner of Oregon and Indiana tonight, which I will be in attendance for. Good morning, boys.
I know people don't like him, but Carson Beck is a bit of a Cinderella story. Now, so is Trinidad Chambliss, and his path from Ferris State to being on the doorstep of the national championship is a great college football story. But Carson Beck, cast off by Georgia, declares for the drafts and then says, no, I'm going to enter the portal, goes to Miami, starts hot. They were counted out after their second loss to SMU, and now here they are getting to play the national championship in their home stadium. It's a bit of a Cinderella story, double-digit seed. This was an incredible game.
It was a lot of fun the whole way through. I mean, Tony was spectacular. Just great effort from Miami across the board. And again, it's easy to nitpick after the fact. I was a little confused about the approach that Miami took because it felt like they could just run the football on Ole Miss all day, and they chose not to take that approach, which is surprising given Mario Cristobal's background and how that team is built. Now, the thing, and listen, full credit to Trinidad Chambliss and that Ole Miss offense. While I did feel that Miami was, how did they describe it? Well, actually, I don't think this was on the broadcast. I may have seen it on Twitter, the idea that Miami was just kind of playing with their food, that they were clearly the better team.
They tried so hard to blow this game.
How many interceptable passes were dropped?
4. Yeah. Like a good 4 that were stone cold dropped interceptions on drives where Ole Miss ended with points.
Yeah. So I felt that Ole Miss was in it by the grace of Miami not putting their foot on an inferior team, because Miami was the better football team last night, ultimately, not just because they won the game. But full credit to Trinidad Chambliss, who put on his cape at the end of the game and tried to will them back to a win that should have been PI. It should have been PI with 6 seconds left in the game.
Yeah.
He heaves a ball deep to a receiver in the back of the end zone. There's 2 dudes. You can clearly see one guy's got the receiver by the shoulder pads. You see the jersey move like it's textbook pass interference. And the Ole Miss players are looking around after, I think Stribling, is that how you say the number 1's name? For Ole Miss, Stribling is the last name of the receiver. Anyway, he's looking around like, hey, where's my flag? Ole Miss players looking around like, hey, guys, that's PI. No call. Game ends. Miami to the title game. Maybe they should have been there anyway, but not like that. That was a sucky way to end a really, really fun game.
Ole Miss should have had an opportunity on the 20-yard line with zeros on the clock to put it in the end zone again. But it's hard to get really worked up about it because, like you said, better team won this game.
Yeah,
more deserving team won this game. Miami outrushed Ole Miss 191-121. In no way should Carson Beck have had 37 dropbacks, had the same amount of dropbacks as Trinidad Chambliss, despite the fact that Miami kind of dominated this game up front. At least on offense, shout out to Ole Miss's defensive front, who got after Carson Beck, had 4 sacks on the night, some intentional groundings in there that kind of go down as sacks, but Miami only got home on Chambliss once. He is so hard to track down in the backfield. But time of possession, Miami, 41 minutes and 22 seconds of the football. The way that they are able to run at will in critical moments could very well be what wins them the national championship.
My favorite play of that game was the 4th and 1 that they ran for, and then you get the offensive line pushing the pile after the fact. Cristobal goes full meathead on the sideline. He's flexing, he's fist pumping, he's fired up about it, because it was just, that's what you need to be able to have a legitimate chance at a national championship. Sometimes you just got to bully dudes. And that's exactly what Miami did last night. I thought they could have bullied Ole Miss harder if they wanted to. And listen, I I will acknowledge I gave Lucas a hard time and Ben a hard time. What was that? Wednesday, about the idea that Ole Miss and Indiana have comparable, like, this is a really wild situation around them for very different reasons, and that Indiana is clearly the better story. When they were talking about some of the defections that Ole Miss had from the Georgia game to this game on the coaching staff, as far as the assistants, and that the offensive coordinator that Pete Golding hired for next year was on the sidelines helping out with the offensive game planning and things like that, and the execution.
Yeah, for the play caller who is, as of today, full-time the play caller at their arch rival, LSU.
Just an insane situation for Pete Golding to have to navigate through, for that Ole Miss staff and players to have to navigate through. They went down fighting, to their credit. And I know there's no moral victories in football, but I have tremendous amount of respect for that team and that coaching staff to have battled the way that they did.
Ole Miss gets a lot of the attention when it comes to their path to this spot, with how insane the last month and a half has been for that program, and rightfully so. But Miami, man, they go to Louisville, and Carson Beck just has death pick after death pick, and they lose that game.
I really thought he was going to do the thing that he did after the Louisville game, like with the way that game started. With there was I think a false start. There was a miscommunication on a deep ball that he could have had earlier. I can't remember. Was it Tony that he missed early, where there's just a bust in the Ole Miss secondary? Tony's running down the field. Beck kind of misses him, where he's clearly going to be able to. I think there could have been a touchdown there had they been able to effectively connect on that. But I thought he was going to do the same thing, depending on how that game played out. I thought he was going to take out his teammates in the post-game press conference the way that he did in Louisville.
Yeah, and that feels like ages ago.
I know, right?
He ends up only throwing one interception, and it's on a tipped ball at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
it's hard to really fault him for it.
No.
So the story of Miami coming back from being out of contention for the ACC championship game, essentially. They did not control their destiny to the ACC championship with like 4 or 5 games remaining. And the pure irony that the ACC has been the weakest Power 4 conference all season long, and it's been about the Big Ten and the SEC, and even the Big 12 has had multiple candidates to go to the college football playoff. And here's this Miami team that was out of contention to even be in the conference championship game that will be playing for a national championship on the last game of the season. I mean, it would just be the most beautiful depiction of where college football is today for the ACC champion to be a 5-loss Duke team, and the national champion to be a Miami team that didn't even play in the ACC championship game.
It was a popular thing on Twitter last night to say that Miami might win a national title before they win the ACC.
They've never won the ACC.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's insane.
Correct.
And the amount, is there a program that has more living legends that can be in attendance for a game than Miami?
No,
Alabama?
I don't know.
Well, they would have to be in the playoffs for something like that to happen, you know.
Yeah, that's right. They'd have to beat a team like Indiana.
They'd have to do something that was up to the caliber of their conference.
They'd have to be in a conference that was worth a damn.
Well, Alabama's is loaded with these alumni, but
I can't wait to put him in a position today to have to defend Alabama.
How many Alabama alums of, let's say, the Nick Saban era, or that are still living, can match the mystique of Ray Lewis, Michael Irvin, and Edgerrin James all being on the sideline together?
Oh, so you're saying an ACC program has a more historied story than any of your beloved.
Well, how many of those guys played in the ACC?
Well,
that's actually the trump card. It's like saying Texas or SEC legend Vince Young.
That's right.
Are we not doing that? Tiger Woods, ACC legend.
The SEC is doing that, yes, because they're trying to grift off any relevancy that they can get now.
Or Fernando Mendoza.
They scramble through the playoffs and
Former ACC legend.
legend.
Look at us. Look at ACC and Big Ten.
Mendoza dipping his toe in Pac-12, ACC, and Big Ten in one career. Amazing.
We'll circle back to that. Robert and I have we are
I'm sure you have things to say, Robert.
Anxiously awaiting your SEC stat of the day later on.
Bustin' Diamond on the F&M Bank chat, where you can hang out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, says, Cam Ward was there too, Lucas. Did you see this? Inez Cooper, the Miami offensive lineman, taking to Instagram Live. We cannot play the audio because it is riddled with expletives post-game locker room. And he's just on Instagram Live in the celebratory locker room saying, I saw Cam Ward. I said, no more jumping off sides for me. Can't jump offside in front of Cam Ward. Can't lose in front of Cam Ward. He said, I saw Cam Ward. He said, I got to lock in.
Oh, my mama.
Really?
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's a defensive lineman for Miami? No, I didn't see this.
Did I say, yeah, defensive lineman. He's on there going, no, he's an offensive lineman. He said, I see Cam Ward on the sideline. I better lock in. No more mistakes here.
That's funny. Well,
like Cam Ward's just hovering like a parent.
We were talking about this last night because I saw Xavier Restrepo posted on his Instagram story that Miami apparently told him that they had run out of sideline passes for people like Xavier Restrepo to go. And Lucas, well, you can make your own point.
I said, I get it. If I was the all-time leader in multiple receiving categories for a program and I had literally just been there the year prior, and I was boxed out of going to my team's national semifinal, I'd be a little miffed.
Okay.
I get the situation.
But then I sent you a picture of like half of the Miami legends that were on the sideline. Respectfully to Xavier Restrepo, who did have a great college career. You are not getting a sideline pass over Edgerrin James.
I understand.
Andre Johnson. Hell, Eric Winston.
Was Olsen there?
Greg Olsen was there. Again, half of the dudes that were there weren't even in that picture. Ray Lewis and Michael Irvin weren't in that picture of all the Miami legends.
Ray Lewis was in the coin toss.
That's so good. It's so good. The to have the U back in a role of prominence, because I saw Miami fans kind of hemming and hawing about, oh, it kind of sucks that this is the biggest game that we've had in 20 years because our program used to mean more than that, and then all of them immediately forgot about the idea that they haven't been here on a regular basis as soon as they were going back to the national championship in their home stadium.
Mario Cristobal leading his team back to almost the promised land. It is a great story, what has happened with the U this season.
The one shot of Cam that I did see on the sideline, he was not dapping people up because he clearly had his arm. Like, we were trying to figure out the jacket that he wore on locker room cleanout day, if he had his arm in the sling or not. People looking very closely for medical purposes at Cam Ward's shoulder and things like that.
What's the verdict?
Well, he did not dap anybody up with his right hand last night. So.
He didn't appear to be wearing a sling.
He was. If you look,
was he?
Well, if
it was
you look,
under his jacket.
If you look at the jacket and the way that he's holding his arm under the jacket,
yeah, he's wearing a sling.
He's wearing a sling. So, which good. He has no more football to play and needs to recover as quickly as humanly possible for the sake of the Tigers.
I just got a video of him dapping someone up with the left hand.
With the left hand, though. Yes.
Yeah, left-handed dap. Is that bad luck? That feels like a bad luck.
Famously, yes.
I'm just not very good at it.
Yeah.
A dap?
Yeah, I mean, anything with my left.
I feel... With your left?
Yeah, like a left hand. I feel like I would.
I will go out of my way to do things with my left hand so that I don't feel as weird if I have to use my left hand.
Well, that's good for you because apparently that is a key to keeping your brain healthy when you get older. Like they say that you should brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand because that's good for your brain.
Obviously, I can't write with my left, but I will try and do things with my left hand because, like, I can clearly tell that mechanically I'm not as adept with my left hand when I try to do stuff.
When you guys, I'm going to be honest with you guys, when you guys were talking about the big game last night, I assumed you meant the 3 episodes of Traitors that got released.
You didn't watch the championship game, did you? Or the semifinal game, did you? It's okay.
You didn't watch? You watched Traitors over the Verbo Fiesta Bowl?
They dropped 3 one-hour episodes, Lucas.
We literally finished primetime. We did primetime a little early because I didn't want to go against the national championship or the semifinal game for obvious reasons. And he looked at me and he said, all right, I have to make dinner and watch Traitors. Get out of my way.
I had to watch Fallout first, but it was...
so you watched
I watched like 4 hours.
4 hours of different things that were not college football last night.
You have so many months of no intense, like, high-level football to watch.
Traitors ends almost the exact... Traitors will be over February 26th. It is shorter than football season. I found this out, and I want to let you guys know right now that I will be doing this, and I don't feel bad going long here because we have incredibly short breaks today. Normies can apply for Traitors next season. They announced that they are going back to no more C and D-list celebrities. They are going back to normal people.
Oh, we got to get you on there.
I think you should try to get on there.
I will be applying.
Oh, we should start. You would be so good.
Because
Have you watched it?
No.
My whole plan, the people that win this game are the unassumers, where everyone thinks, oh, he's just a funny, dumb redneck. Like, he's just here to have some fun. I'm here to slit throats.
You're like Kurt Signetti out here.
I'm here.
Well, you are a funny, dumb redneck, but you are also here to slit throats.
You can be both, the duality of man,
yes.
And all those things. I asked ChatGPT last night what I need to do to be on the next season of Traders. It wrote a proposal plan for me. It wrote a shot plan for me. So we will be putting that into action, and I will be on Traders. It may not be this year. It may not be in America. It may be in New Zealand, UK, Canada.
Ooh, New Zealand would be beautiful.
That'd be awesome.
And the women are smoke shows. I already have my least favorite. I don't want to do spoilers because I know everyone can't sit down and do 3 hours of binging.
I'm sure people did.
I asked Ben Jones if he did because I wanted to discuss this, and when he said he didn't get to watch it, he'll watch it tonight. I had to secure myself, but I made a prediction yesterday that held pretty strong. Pretty strong.
Oh, you're giving out, Traders spoilers? You're tipping picks for Traders?
I would also like to, I've been trying to do this for a year now. On my birthday, I will be renting the nicest house in Nashville that I can buy or rent, and we will be having a Traders birthday party.
Didn't you do this last year?
No, we didn't get to play it. No, that was for draft. We're renting a nice house. We're all having nice suits, and
Also,
we're playing Traders.
If the nicest house that you can rent in Nashville is a ranch house in Mount Juliet.
Be that as it may, there are 12 people that are going to get invited. And if you keep it up, buddy, you will not be invited. You will not get to be
I'm not showing up to that anyway.
You would love it. You would love it. You just get to lie and snuff people out and suss people out.
I will make you a deal. If you have it within the perimeter, within the confines of where I live in Davidson County, I will show up.
No, put it remote, Robert. Put it out there.
Nashville mansions for rent. Hold on, looking it up now on Zillow. $22K a month.
Not bad.
For who? For who? The prize is going to be a Chuck E. Cheese gift card. What do you mean?
The prize is you get the Verbo bill.
I don't want to do this anymore. All right, keep scrolling.
Also, how much money did the company Verbo pay to have the official at the coin toss say, we have the Verbo general manager here, and he has the coin? And the man says nothing. He gives a very awkward smile that he cedes into the background after he gives the ref the coin for the coin toss.
Real quick, before we wrap up this Miami-Ole Miss game, Trinidad Chambliss, if he cannot come back next year, why are we not talking about him at all as a quarterback prospect in the draft? Is it a measurables thing? Like, he's...
That's a good question. I have
he's
not
6'1", 200. I mean,
he's like, Cam Ward is, 6'1", 215?
Yeah.
He's probably a little heavier than that.
I'd love to hear someone smarter than us tell us why Chambliss isn't even in the discussion, it would seem.
Well, we're getting closer to... You want to do a mock draft Monday next week? Is it too early? We don't have to. I'm just saying, I can call Sycamore. These questions can be answered by smart people if you are willing to do a mock draft Monday. But you have to be willing to do a mock draft Monday.
Think about it.
Okay.
Think about it good.
615-737-1045 is the number if you would like to participate. Steve is in Nashville.
Buck, is it make fun of Buck Friday? It is. Hey, Buck, there's no way Cam can have his arm in a sling and in the jacket. He's just got his hand sticking in there. There's no sling on that arm, buddy.
Okay.
But there's no sling on the arm.
It looks like there's a sling.
Okay.
I just got to make fun of you. It's Friday.
Okay, very good. Well done.
He's a physical therapist. I think he would know. And also, Steve, get ready for your invite to Nashville Traders, buddy.
That's what you should try to do. You should try not only to be on the show, but to convince them to do the show here.
Shut up. That would be awesome.
You could get plenty of pseudo-celebrities to do Traders here.
Oh, my God. Ben already loves it. We could get Ben in on Traders. Do you think Brett would do it? We can ask him at 12 o'clock today.
You can. I will not be here.
Even better.
No. Yeah, my Friday fire to you all is that I'm leaving before Friday fire to catch my flight.
I am so tickled.
615-737-1045 is the number if you would like to participate. There are new names in the Titans coaching search, and one big one, physically and metaphorically speaking, that has been requested that you all have been pining for quite some time. We'll tell you what that is coming up next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. So who will face Miami in the national championship game? We'll have Oregon, Indiana tonight. Should be fun. We're going to talk about that game a little later. You guys are going to do picks with Brett Kern, I assume, at 12:20.
We have wild card games to pick in the NFL playoffs, and we have Oregon, Indiana to pick in the Peach Bowl happening tonight. So looking forward to that with Brett. But in the meantime, there are new names in the Titans head coaching search, as Adam Schefter has reported that Rams defensive coordinator Chris Shula and Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter have received interview requests from the Titans. Minter has spent time in Nashville before, was the DC at Vanderbilt before moving up to Michigan, and now in the NFL.
Pretty
and
fast rise for him.
Very fast rise. And Chris Shula has completely worked his way up. He came in as a low-level assistant when Sean McVay initially took over, worked up to defensive coordinator, and obviously he's got it in his blood, and he is a coaching candidate out there on the market as it currently stands. And the Titans are going to talk to Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah, so is that the biggest takeaway of these three, that the Titans are indeed going to sit down with McCarthy, at least virtually?
Yeah. They have a stated goal of as wide-ranging as humanly possible to not pigeonhole themselves. Although, again, I do think it is interesting. Can you discern, do you have the full list in front of you?
The full list of Titans?
People that they have requested to interview. Okay. Can you give me one common takeaway from the list? Because there is a theme, I think, as you look at the list of people that they have requested to interview. So far, again, it does not mean that they can't talk to this kind of a coach that is glaringly absent from the list.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to tell you one thing that I am not seeing on this list. And that is...
Well, I guess that's how I should ask the question.
An offensive-minded play-calling coach that has never been a head coach.
Bingo.
That is the one thing that's not on this list. And who's the one name that's not on this list?
Kubiak.
Clint Kubiak.
Yeah. So again, it does not mean that they will not talk to one of these guys. And I mean, who else is being talked about this way other than Kubiak? There's not that many.
Yeah, it felt like there were more in the last cycle. This is kind of the smorgasbord of, veteran coaches, defensive-minded coaches. Kubiak is, I guess, the one hotshot OC.
Joe Brady.
I was about to say, Baltimore, right? The only request for Brady so far?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So, basically, not what they hired last time around is what they're trying, at least so far. Their list seems that they would rather speak to at least talk to first guys who have been offensive play callers, guys who have been head coaches before, dudes with defensive backgrounds who may or may not have been a head coach before, because there are several. But the one glaringly absent circumstance is the idea that they do not have a first-time head coach who has also been an offensive play caller, as Lucas pointed out correctly.
Chris Shula is the youngest coach the Titans have requested to interview at the age of 39.
Okay. Does the fan base care that they have not yet requested Joe Brady or Clint Kubiak?
I haven't heard any consternation.
I really haven't either. Kubiak is a name that was floated in the cycle generally, so you saw a lot of Titans fans talking about it. I think Zach has been talking a lot about Clint Kubiak. I feel maybe I've seen that on social media.
Nick on the F&M Bank chat says not requesting Kubiak shows the Titans do not want to look at a first-time offensive coach.
I don't know explicitly that that's true. It would be easy to take away from that, but you have two things here. One, there are not that many of those dudes. We just named the two right now who are most being talked about. There are 4 more defensive candidates who are being looked at as potential head coaches in this cycle than there are current offensive play callers. Now, some of that may be because a lot of these teams already have head coaches who are calling the offensive plays, and you're not going to hire one head coach away from another place unless that guy got fired. So your pool has been winnowed down to guys who have actually called offensive plays. There is also not a candidate like Brian Callahan, who has not been a head coach, nor the definitive play caller on the list, which was the case for Brian Callahan when they hired him 2 years ago.
Yeah, I guess Nagy's not the play caller in Kansas City, but obviously he's called plays at multiple points in his career.
Nagy has called plays.
Yeah.
So, as you look at the list, is there a name that jumps to the top of it for Titans fans? 615-737-1045, the number. Because, again, I would say Harbaugh not being on the list is simply because Harbaugh is not going to start this thing, it seems, according to his representation, until next week. Miami, by the way, is doing everything that they can to make you think that they did not fire Mike McDaniel for the sake of John Harbaugh.
Oh, they are messaging hard.
And listen, Jeff Darlington is as connected to the Dolphins organization as anybody doing reporting. So I'm not doubting the credibility of what I don't think Jeff Darlington would put out, stuff just for the sake, like stuff just because somebody's told it to him, right? Like Jeff Darlington is a good veteran reporter based out of Miami with connections to that organization whose information that you can trust.
Packers hired a GM, by the way.
The Dolphins hired the Packers.
The Dolphins hired Packers VP of Player Personnel, John Eric Sullivan, who was a candidate here before they hired Borgonzi.
So that hire was the first canary in the coal mine for whether you thought they could pair Harbaugh with someone from his past. Because with the other general manager that was up for it, that when Harbaugh was fired, everyone was like, oh, if they hire this guy, that means Harbaugh's coming to town. Chargers assistant general manager Chad Alexander had worked with Jim and John Harbaugh. That was the easy connection. So I wonder if you'd be able to deduce that maybe they don't think they could get Harbaugh by not hiring Harbaugh's guy. I don't know. I think it will be interesting how it plays out moving forward. But that was the litmus test of how far are they going to sell out for Harbaugh.
This man has a striking resemblance to Steve Sarkisian.
John Eric Sullivan?
Yes.
I guess I don't really see it. Jeff Darlington tweeted about exactly that, Robert. He says, so how does this impact the potential hiring of John Harbaugh, you ask? The Dolphins remain interested, but I would not describe them as fixated. As I've been mentioning, the team believes in a structure that puts the GM in place first. The firing of McDaniel was never about the pursuit of Harbaugh.
Never, ever?
Never, ever, ever.
Really?
I mean, whatever. Okay, if that's what's being reported, then all right, that's fine. So John Harbaugh would obviously supersede any of these candidates, right? Even Mike McCarthy? Even though their records are shockingly similar.
They are. I think Harbaugh is far and away the number one candidate. Yes. Like Harbaugh, I expect to be the highest paid candidate on the market.
And I hated that graphic because I feel like anytime you put up numbers without context, when he was with Green Bay, who was good in that division?
Sorry, you're talking about McCarthy?
Yes. Who was good in that division when he was with the Green Bay?
Certainly not the Lions. The Vikings had a couple of moments.
Not the Bears.
Right. They beat the hell out of the Bears and the Lions. John Harbaugh, meanwhile, was in a conference with Marvin Lewis, who, while he never got it done in the playoffs, he almost always went. Mike Tomlin, Steelers, and the Browns were dookie. So,
you telling me that dude doesn't look like Steve Sarkisian?
Yeah, that angle, I see it.
Anyway.
It's the smile.
Yeah,
they both got those tan. They both got those tan cheeks.
Kind of that hair.
The faux hawk, or it's not a faux hawk. It's like a duck flip type of thing that he's doing with his hair there. Anyway, what were you saying? I'm sorry, I got distracted.
He's talking about McCarthy, Harbaugh, the job Harbaugh has done over the course of his head coaching career.
Like they dominated their division.
Yeah.
They dominated the NFC
One
North.
of the best divisions in
and their records
league.
are still comparable.
Did you say the same thing about the Saints? Nah, the Falcons gave them a pretty good run. You had Cam Newton, Carolina in there with Sean Payton,
Matt Ryan, and Julio.
Yeah. So there was a greater threat to the Saints during Sean Payton's run because again, those three now of similar age have similar resumes. You spend enough time doing this, you're probably going to come out numerically pretty close if you're a good coach.
Peyton coached against Brady, right?
Oh, for sure.
And all three of those coaches had Hall of Fame quarterbacks, where Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Fame quarterback, Drew Brees, Hall of Fame quarterback, Joe Flacco,
famous
Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yes.
You snuck that in there.
Hey, man, they don't win that Super Bowl without him.
He was insane.
It's the reverse Eli, right? Like, they don't win the Super Bowl without Joe Flacco going just blackout. He was awesome.
He has lived the reverse Jay-Z. He lived long enough as a villain to see himself become a hero.
Nobody ever hated Joe Flacco.
Oh, my God. They poo-pooed all over him, saying he wasn't good enough to compete. But now everyone would do a backflip for Flacco. Oh, I want Flacco here. He needs to be our backup.
Because he eats by himself, and he's kind of like a gruff, lovable guy at this point in his career.
A bit of just an endearing figure now.
It's just funny.
Go ahead.
If you ever wanted to know the kind of guy he was, after he signed that huge extension with Baltimore after the Super Bowl, the first place he went, McDonald's drive-thru.
Yeah.
Nice.
Get some McNuggies.
Big 2033 on the F&M Bank chat says Shula, Nagy, Saleh. That's his 1, 2, 3 right now of preferred candidates for the Titans.
I need to read more about Chris Shula. I don't
go the coach's son route again.
I mean, listen, there's a Kubiak here, there's a Shula there. I mean, at least this one's a grandson, right?
Hey, pretty good bloodlines.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, I mean, how many of them have not had some kind of connection to somebody in football at some point? Like, even if it's not like blood relation, there is buddyism all over the NFL. It's just what it is.
His father, Dave, was the head coach of the Bengals back in the 90s. Obviously, his grandfather is Don Shula, and his uncle is Mike Shula.
Man.
It's quite the lineup.
Football royalty. So, Anthony Weaver, the Dolphins defensive coordinator, still not requested here. He has been requested to interview with the Ravens. At the very least, I've seen that.
Weaver fever.
I cannot take credit for that. That's Zach Lyons and Ross. Weaver fever. Which sounds like something that would have killed a Victorian child. It's like, oh, my poor child has come down with the Weaver fever.
Like some kind of mites.
Yeah, something that happens in basket weaving. It's like, oh, I touched my child after weaving baskets, and now there are mites under his skin.
Wiped out an entire generation.
He has Weaver fever. I put him in our basement with a cold glass of water.
What other sayings could also sound like just life-altering diseases?
They just treated it with like 3 taps on the head.
So I mean, I guess as I look at the candidates here, I can't put John Harbaugh on there as my favorite until John Harbaugh is officially requested, right? Can we do this conversation without Harbaugh?
No, I think it has to be who we know the Titans are going to at the very least speak to.
I would go a push for McCarthy or Nagy. I feel equally. I mean, McCarthy is obviously the more accomplished coach with a better resume, but I think Robert's point about that is fair. Now, I will say, Robert, that the degree of difficulty of his job got much harder when he went to the NFC East because the Cowboys had good teams, but the Eagles were obviously right there neck and neck with them. The Giants have never really, I don't know. I can't think of the last time the Giants were an actual threat in their division. It's been quite some time. And Washington, was McCarthy the coach of the Cowboys when Heineke won the division in COVID? Or did McCarthy get hired after COVID?
COVID was his first season as the coach of the Cowboys. But McCarthy by no means you could say he was a disappointment in Dallas because he was hired to win a Super Bowl.
But he won 12 games a bunch.
3 years in a row.
Yeah.
He was by no means a failure in Dallas.
So I would probably go Nagy McCarthy push at the top. I like the idea of a defensive-minded head coach here, depending on who the offensive coordinator is, but that depending on who the offensive coordinator is a huge thing. Now, Mike McDaniel has not been requested by the Titans yet. We'll see. Would there be any interest in Mike McDaniel as a head coach here?
Is there any interest in McDaniel as a head coach anywhere?
He's interviewing with the Browns.
Is that the only one?
That's the only one I've seen.
If you want a weird interview list, go look at who the Browns are talking to.
They're talking to Jim Schwartz. I just saw Schefter put out. Yeah.
And that's probably a courtesy, right? Like he was their defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He's respected in the league. You might as well talk to him about what do you think we could have done better.
Nobody else has requested him, so it feels more like a courtesy than the other ones.
Yeah. So just the Browns for Mike McDaniel.
So there's just so much dependent on the staff of the coach that is hired, right? The thing that is unanswerable by us right now and by fans right now that I think has huge bearing on how you would view these head coaches is what's your plan for the staff? And of course, we won't have access to that. Perhaps one of these insiders will get, somebody's book that they bring into their interviews with them about what their plan for the offense is going to be, what their plan for the staff is going to be, strength and conditioning, all these different kind of things that you have to have. And I feel like that's a lot of second round stuff as opposed to these initial interviews that are being requested. But I don't know what to do with a lot of these inexperienced candidates or the Robert Salehs of the world without knowing, all right, who is going to be helping Cam Ward here if you are the CEO of the franchise?
I thought it was very interesting to hear both Ben Jones and Nate Washington independently say that they enjoyed the process of being coached by a defensive-minded head coach as an offensive player.
Well, but think about it. And I'm not saying that this is a blanket statement about every defensive background guy ever, but what are they more likely to be? As a personality type, as a philosophy?
Oh, yeah. I guess, like that tough-nosed,
attacking,
discipline,
aggressive,
yeah,
run the football, just dominate, right? Go out there and you go out there and you inflict your will on your opponent, even if it's not, the flashiest version of the offense. Like, everybody likes scoring touchdowns, everybody likes passing touchdowns and things like that. Offensive linemen want to grind you into a pulp, and they want to win 13-10.
I think we have pivoted away a little bit from this idea that you have to have an offensive mastermind head coach to win in the NFL. Like, even 2 years ago, it felt like that's where the league's going, especially as the Titans were coming out of the Vrabel era. That's where we need to be. But it feels so evenly split now. Maybe it's a little more offensive-minded. Like, you look at the playoff game Saturday, McVay versus Canales, both offense. LaFleur versus Ben Johnson, both offense. Bills versus Jags, McDermott defense, Liam Cohen offense. Niners, Eagles, both coaches are offensive coaches. Chargers, Patriots, Vrabel versus Harbaugh. It's still a little more in terms of the teams that are contending for Super Bowls right now. Without adding it up, I'd say what, like 60-40, maybe 65-35 are offensive-minded head coaches versus defensive-minded?
I think that's more, and listen, they can be right. Like, they can do well in those jobs. I think owners chase. I think owners chase what they think works for other people. Why can't that work for me? I think that's what happened here. And listen, I bought into it. I wanted Brian Callahan to be hired by the Titans. Mea culpa, egg on my face, all these different things. Like, I think the whole spiel was bring me Brian Callahan for as much good as that did. So I'm guilty of that too. But I think that you can get in. I think that a lot of times you can simplify it by saying, all right, owners are looking around at what other teams are doing well and thinking, okay, I need that because that will help me do well, instead of, for lack of a better term, blazing their own trail.
I hesitate to read this comment because I don't like how he's treated Carey over the course of 3 or 4 seasons. But Big in the F&M Bank chat says, people have finally realized the league is a cycle. The Titans have been bad whenever they've tried to chase trends. Is that true? Have the Titans been chasing trends?
I just said that.
You said the words chase trends?
Yes.
No, I don't think that's true.
Literally what I just said.
I thought he was name-dropping someone that he met at a bar named Chase Trends.
Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be a terrible name.
That would be
like
a great,
an Instagram influencer.
Exactly.
Like
it sounds like the type of person you would hang out with.
No.
And we'll
I'm
talk
too
to him
old
next.
for that.
Coming up next segment, Chase Trends in studio.
With trends with a Z.
And a K? Would it be K-H-A?
Oh, come on. No, now you're getting ridiculous.
Whoa,
The closest-
excuse me.
The closest we've ever got to doing that is Cord Overstreet, who sounds like an Instagram influencer.
Yeah.
He had a great Trump impression.
He was really good at the Trump impression, and then I think he got a little scared. 615-737-1045. We can go back to Titans conversation if we have to later, but the college football is what's going to dominate the weekend. The wild card weekend is going to dominate the weekend as well.
It's a great football weekend.
It is a great football weekend, but not for the SEC. SEC stat of the day next. You've got one life, and it's too short for not nows, maybe laters, and tomorrows. If you're noticing issues with ED or performance, then your relationships, your confidence, and even your career has already been affected. Online folks promise convenience and discretion, but their treatments are generic and some even unsafe. Guys, no more excuses. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is the state's first men's health-focused urology practice. Multiple urologists and providers focus solely on male performance the right way. No unproven snake oil or peptides without solid research. Since 2014, they've pioneered men's health in Tennessee and have been testing and growing to make sure you get the best care and the safest, most effective treatments. Their urology foundation means freedom to practice medicine the right way, not confined by one-size-fits-all pills. Did you know that there's treatments that can help you maintain what you've got? Just like going to the gym to maintain muscle, there's ways to keep ED at bay without a pill. If you're starting to notice things get shaky, don't wait. Things can get worse if you continue to procrastinate or if you just think you are going to ignore the problem and it will get better. It's time to show up in your family and your life like never before. Turn your tomorrows into today. Call 615-208-9090, 615-208-9090, or book online in under 30 seconds at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
You gotta know when to pat them on the ass, and you gotta know when not to say anything.
So come on down where the big boys play in the SEC dungeon.
The SEC stat of the day.
It should be the ACC stat of the day. You losers.
Well, let me eat
We
my...
could do a Big Ten stat of the day.
Oh, boy.
Would you
Anyone
like to?
that's winning,
The Conference of Champions,
anyone that's
perhaps?
still in the playoff.
If you'll give me a moment to eat some crow for the SEC, I will face the music here and tell you that the SEC stat of the day is 2. Now, you may hear the number 2, and you may be getting ready for me to say, yes, that is the number of SEC wins in this postseason, not against another SEC opponent. But no, the SEC stat of the day is 2. Because both players of the game last night, the offensive player of the game, Carson Beck, from Georgia, the defensive player of the game and safety Jacoby Thomas from Tennessee. So the SEC stat of the day is 2 because the only thing that can get the ACC back to the promised land is scooping up SEC cast-offs. How do you feel about that?
Well, you guys have been stealing everyone else's players for forever. So why did they leave the SEC? If that's where the big boys play, why did they feel like they couldn't get it done there? Why didn't he transfer to Missouri or Kentucky? It's the SEC. He can make it happen, right?
Tennessee, even.
Right?
Tennessee could have really used Jacoby Thomas this year, man. Right? Safety was a weak spot. Shout out to MTSU for, where he started his career.
I think that we are seeing the demise of the SEC in real time. For a third straight year, the SEC will not win a national championship. And that has to burn this part of the country.
Now, we don't know that yet. All right? We have to play the games. Crazy things have happened. Okay? Let the season finish before you start projecting these things.
The biggest victory that you have is that the game itself will be played in the southeastern portion of the country.
I love that Lucas is acting like someone's going to turn in a Money in the Bank contract. Oh, my God, is that Alabama's music? Wait, as the confetti is falling on Indiana, like they think the game's over. Oh, no, Alabama's cashing in their opportunity to challenge for the national championship.
That's fine. We'll just beat their ass again.
I'm just
Bring
saying,
them on out.
Let it play out is all I'm saying.
How'd it go for you the first time around, you losers?
Oh, you stinky, stinky conference. That's what it should stand for. Instead of Southern, it's Stinky Eastern Conference.
2-8, the SEC in games that did not pit one SEC team against another. So, yes, no, this is a real thing, obviously. The SEC does not have this monopoly of talent that it obviously had for so many years in the 21st century. But Kirk Herbstreit, did you see this rant he went on during the post-game coverage on ESPN yesterday?
I turned it. The game was too late for me. I barely made it to the fourth quarter.
He kind of went on a mini rant about teams need to see this and stop focusing on just chasing every 4 or 5-star talent that's going to walk in their door through the portal and build a team of guys that want to be there.
Wait, what?
And
isn't that Ole Miss?
We can kind of play the audio. What? Is what Ole Miss? The chasing portion?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who lost the game last night?
Oh,
I think that was his point.
He's just saying about Miami. Wait, Miami too? What?
Well, Miami, like the thing here is you can't build.
They paid $4 million for a quarterback.
Yes, but Mario Cristobal also built that team in sort of his image.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For lack of a better way of putting it. And yes, he went and got his quarterback in the portal. He supplemented in the portal, but the teams that are going to win in this era are the ones that walk that line so perfectly of having an established foundation and culture that has to some degree, stem from high school football recruiting, but also can do it in the transfer portal with the guys that fit. And the teams that are going to be playing for the national championship, especially if Indiana wins tonight, are not going to be in the top, 5 percentile of the most quote-unquote talented on-paper teams in the country, where for so long that felt like the path to winning a championship. And even last year, that felt like the path when you watched Ohio State, who has nothing but NFL players and a $30 million roster, whatever it is, cruise to a national title. But there is a delicate balance there that Curt Signetti has nailed, that Mario Cristobal clearly has gotten down, and that I think Dan Lanning has gotten down as really the only one of these 4 semifinalists to finish in the upper tier of recruiting year over year and still be playing right now. But he, too, obviously has supplemented in the portal. But, yes, there is no question the SEC has taken a back seat here in these last couple of years.
Is that it?
You done?
Yeah. Are you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is for everybody.
Take it off.
Y'all thought that it was over. Y'all thought that it was sweet. Y'all thought that the SEC was going to run over everybody. Not anymore. Everybody that's been beat down by the SEC, get up. Take your shirt off. Honk your horn driving down the road.
You really want me to take my shirt off?
This is for us. Come on. Yeah.
You didn't take your shirt off. No.
There it is.
There's going to be too much chest hair if I take mine off.
This is why people need to be in the F&M Bank chat. This is exclusive stuff.
Y'all thought that this was sweet. Y'all thought that this was sweet. Bring it back. Come on.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
I've been waiting on that for a minute.
What, just take your shirt off? Will it work?
It's getting hot in here.
I mean, see, now what I fear is he's going to go full prime time, and then he'll take his pants off, too, and just do the remainder
No
of the show
pants
naked.
coming off. I'm just reminded of Notre Dame getting beat down by Alabama.
Have you lost a little weight?
I mean, I'm getting a little
Oh, my God, Justin's back there with you.
Just getting work done in the background.
Justin's covered in a pile of Robert's clothes that he's stripped off at this point.
Just another posting podcast.
Just remembering all those times that we just weren't good enough. And those times are over. Come on! You take yours off too, Justin. Come on. Yeah.
Justin took his...
It's going down, baby. No SEC in the championship.
Matt on the F&M Bank chat says, you may not like it, but that is the ideal male body. Mock Draft Monday says, what a man.
It's very pink and very fleshy back there right now.
What's that song? Some girls don't like boys like me. But some girls do.
I don't know.
I'm unfamiliar with that song, but it sounds like your anthem. 615-737-1045. Somebody in the comments says mayonnaise everywhere.
Take your victory laps. You deserve it.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, is there ever going to be one conference in the current state of collegiate athletics that runs a sport like the SEC did during the 21st century? Because I'm inclined to think that the playing field has never been more slanted to not allow anybody, Big Ten, ACC, SEC, to truly have that kind of talent dominance and just competitive dominance from 1 to 16 or 1 to 12, whatever, however many teams are in these conferences at this point in time as they continue to shift around. I feel like we're probably never going back to the SEC ruling the roost that way. Maybe it's recency bias. I don't know. But I look at I don't want to look at Indiana and say other people can do that too. Because I genuinely don't think that other people are going to find a Signetti out there and all of a sudden it's a rocket ship and you're just going to be the best program in the history of time or do the best coaching job in the history of time all of a sudden at a program that's never mattered ever.
Yeah, we're seeing these runs that just aren't replicable, right? Like even what Ole Miss has done. I mean, how many fan bases are looking at Ole Miss's run this year and saying, all right, we need to go find us a Trinidad Chambliss out of D2 or FCS or wherever we can find them. How many schools are going to look at what Kurt Signetti has done and look at their talent profile and say, well, hang on a second. We're not that much less talented than Indiana. Where's our Kurt Signetti? But those guys aren't out there. Kurt Signetti is one of one. So, yes, I agree with you. I don't think we're going to see that period of dominance, although the Big Ten is a couple games away from having a third straight national champion.
We're going to find somebody else to produce the show. I'm being requested downstairs in the HR office for some reason.
I wonder why.
We don't have HR.
Aren't you glad? My mom
Can you
did just
imagine what a
text me.
problem we would be for an in-house HR? Oh my God!
Oh, there would be a ticket system.
Take a number.
Oh my God!
For real though, is it surprising that Kurt Signetti's name has not come up at all in NFL coaching discussions?
If he wanted it out there, it would be out there. I genuinely think the man wants to win a national championship at Indiana.
I agree.
Because I didn't realize that he is also a Jimmy Sexton client, the most high-profile coaching agent of anybody out there. And Jimmy also has players too. He has, he's had some share of Derrick Henry for a couple of years. He has people who work with guys like Ben Jones and stuff like that. Like there are branches of the Jimmy Sexton tree while still technically being represented by Jimmy Sexton. But like if a Jimmy Sexton client had any interest in the NFL, that would be out there.
I'm not talking about his interest in the NFL. I'm talking about the NFL's interest in him.
If they're being met with, don't bother. Doesn't he? I'm speculating here, right? I don't know that to be so, but like people could have called and Jimmy Sexton said, don't bother.
Kind of what happened with Matt Campbell, right? Like, nah, I don't want to leave.
Yeah, but even Matt Campbell was out there. Like there was the Lions were interested in Matt Campbell. Signetti.
Marcus Freeman.
Yeah. But again, who's putting that out there? Marcus Freeman's agent is 100% putting that out there. I think that's as much damage control as for what Notre Dame did, the crap Notre Dame pulled this bowl season, just to make Marcus Freeman look more attractive, not physically. Although, what's he doing with his hair? Like he's a good-looking man. What do you need to do?
What happened?
Who?
Marcus Freeman?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You haven't seen
the
this?
Enhancements, yes.
It's bad.
Like, is it a hairline thing?
It's like
it's bad.
Was it Carlos Boozer?
No,
the NBA player.
Boozer did it for a while, but who's this? I'm blanking on the Celtics guy.
Jalen Brown.
Jalen Brown.
Yeah,
it's Jalen Brown bad.
It's like somebody
Marcus
spray painted
Freeman
his hair.
accidentally headbutted somebody, there would be a mark.
Also, I don't know when you go back and look at who was the dude that lived in the deluxe apartment in the sky? Why can I not? George Jefferson. Not George. Was it George Jefferson?
I don't know.
I'm drawing a blank after my
time.
moment there.
I know you're a little dizzy.
I wish we would bring back the Friar Tuck. I wish we would bring back, just have the helicopter landing pad up there. It's badass.
You know what Tehran calls it?
What?
The Eagles helmet. You got the wings on the side.
It's like who's the Pied Piper of the SEC? That old geezer that looks like he crawls out of a crypt every time.
Sankey?
No.
A Feinbaum?
Yes, yeah. It reminds me of that when he was on the desk and they were like, what do you tell him when you go to the barber? He's like, leave the signs.
All-time television moment. All-time television moment. Tim Tebow, Marty Smith, Marcus Spears, and Paul Feinbaum.
Leave the sign. Oh, dude, does Tebow laugh like that?
Were they asking Marty or were they asking Tebow?
Yeah, he's like a two, take it up to a fade, and keep the faux hawk.
I think Marcus Spears like, hey, what are you telling Paul? Yeah, they just lost it. That was awesome.
So good.
Right up there with the Reese Davis Lank moment from the Rose Bowl a couple years ago.
He called it back in something that he was talking about Indiana or Alabama. I didn't see what the context was.
It was very well done, as usual.
Either way, could there be another coaching change in the NFL? We'll talk about it. Nothing worse than a plumbing, HVAC, or electrical emergency. You don't know what it will cost or if it'll get fixed correctly or if someone is just trying to sell you something. That's when you call Hiller. Their experts are going to solve your problems quickly. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical has been in business for over 35 years. They're family-owned and operated. Their techs are professional, experienced, and trustworthy. When they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time. No more wasting time waiting around. 100% satisfaction guarantee of happy you'll be or the service is free. That's the Happy Hiller promise. So book online today at happyhiller.com.
.03, good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Down studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. One half of the national championship game is set as Miami will go back to Hard Rock Stadium to play for a title after beating Ole Miss 31-27 in the Fiesta Bowl. Carson Beck ran in the game-winning touchdown to cap a 2-minute drill with 18 seconds on the clock. Tonight, it'll be Oregon and Indiana in the Peach Bowl, kickoff at 6:30. The Titans have submitted interview requests for more coaching candidates, according to Adam Schefter, and Rams defensive coordinator Chris Shula and Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter. The Titans will also speak with former Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy. The team today will conduct a virtual interview with former Cowboys coach Jason Garrett. College hoops this weekend. Tennessee hits the road to Florida, taking on the Gators tomorrow. Tip-off at 11 a.m. You can hear the Vol Network call right here on The Zone. And Vanderbilt looks to stay undefeated and tie a school record 16-0 start as they host LSU at noon. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
So as we work our way through the hiring process, I think we have largely concluded the firing process, though I suppose we shouldn't say things so definitively. or Mike McDaniel didn't get fired until recently, and Raheem Morris was fired on Sunday before Black Monday, and John Harbaugh was fired a couple of days after the season ended, and the wheels on the bus, or I guess carousel doesn't have wheels. What spins a carousel? The motor on the carousel goes round and round?
Well, they would have to have some wheels.
The horses.
The horses on the carousel go round and round? Doesn't have to be a horse. You a horse guy on the carousel?
Could be a car.
I always get
No
on a horse.
tiger, no elephant, no dragon, nothing like that?
I can't tell you the last time I was on a carousel.
They used to have one at the mall.
I think every mall had a carousel
Really?
at some point. Yeah, ours in North Carolina, Haynes Mall.
This seems like a weird place to put a carousel, a mall.
Oh, you got them kids. Leave them kids going around and around. It's hard for them to run around if they're dizzy.
Coolest carousel is at Cedar Point theme park.
In Ohio?
In Ohio.
The coolest nothing is in Ohio.
Cedar Point is the only cool thing about Ohio because the carousel has been there since like the 1930s, like the OG theme park.
Sounds deeply unsafe.
The rides are awesome.
Anyway, so the coaching carousel continues and may yet continue if a team decides, yes, I would like John Harbaugh more than I would like my current coach. Get him out of here. Miami is saying that's not what they did. You can choose to believe them or not. But Robert, tell me what you've just found, courtesy of ESPN Cleveland, because for those who don't know Tony Grossi, he's been in that market for 100 years. If I'm not mistaken, Tony Grossi is one of their Hall of Fame voters. And he has been somebody in that market in the NFL as a local guy for a long, long time, so would be viable and would have reasonable connections to basically any agent in the NFL for his longevity that he's been doing this job. He also does Cleveland radio.
So Tony Grossi went on the morning show in ESPN Cleveland, and the tweet says, Tony Grossi has found out what John Harbaugh's requirements are to be interested in his next head coaching job, and I'll let Tony explain it to you.
I talked to a league insider who speculates on what he's heard about Harbaugh's prerequisites to even be interested in your job.
Okay.
$20 million a year.
Not a problem.
Not a problem. $10 million assistant coach budget.
Not a problem.
Okay. Total authority over the roster. And also would like to select his own guy to lean on, personnel guy.
Okay, so would he be making the draft picks? Like, you're going to ask this guy? That kind of makes me feel uneasy. Does he want more say over the roster than what he had in Baltimore?
Yes.
Ooh.
Which would be a total change in the structure here. I think there are 4 definite candidates for Harbaugh to end up with. Cleveland now is, I think, 4th.
Okay.
Miami,
The Giants,
and Atlanta.
Well, the Dolphins have hired their general manager. Yes, prognostication noise. The Giants stood fast with Joe Shane. And
Harbaugh's like, get him out.
And the Browns stood fast with Andrew Berry.
I think
Jags stood fast with Trent Baalke.
Well, that's the thing. Like, until they didn't get Liam Cohen, and they said, no, wait, day of, they fired him.
And if Liam Cohen can exercise that kind of leverage as a guy who's never been a head coach, John Harbaugh can sure as hell exercise that leverage on someone like Joe Shane, who feels like he's on his last legs anyway.
So it's the Giants or the Falcons, right?
Yeah, Falcons don't have a GM. Stands to reason.
And this kind of removes the Titans from any kind of...
yes. This is the Vrabel thing. She didn't want to do she didn't want anything to do with this. She's just going to give it to another guy? Phrasing.
If you're the Giants, just do it. If I'm a Giants fan.
For what? Yeah,
it's like, do it, man.
I don't
put
care
your chips
anymore.
in on John Harbaugh.
Worked out for the Jags. And because of Miami...
Well, but he did. Liam Cohen's demands were not this. It was just get Trent Baalke out of here.
Right. I mean, I'm saying it worked for them to fire their general manager and bring someone else to put in his place.
Yes.
And with Miami hiring their general manager, not Harbaugh's reported choice in Chad Alexander, who's the assistant general manager for the Chargers, his guy is still available. So if the Browns, the Falcons, according to his list, I would remove the Dolphins from it because they selected their guy. The Browns, the Falcons, and the Giants and the Falcons did move off the general manager. So the Browns or the Giants could move off of the general manager in pursuit of Harbaugh. So now I think you know the places he could land, and we could start pointing to other places that are out of the Harbaugh sweepstakes.
How does Andrew Berry have a shred of job security?
Yeah, the only thing I can say is they had a pretty good draft. this past year. But
beyond the mess that is their quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And that's what their owner said. Their owner had a press conference and said that this previous draft was an influx of talent. They liked the way it was headed. But I think that can change.
Yeah, for
especially
sure.
if you bring back the hometown hero in Harbaugh. He's from Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
He went to Miami
They're
of
always
Ohio.
from Ohio. Why are they always
Toledo,
from Ohio?
man.
Coached at Cincinnati.
That state does produce coaches at an insane rate. Here's my question. Those are the openings we're talking about now. There are 8 total openings. Could there be more? Could there be 9 this time next week after the wild card round? Green Bay's at Chicago, Pittsburgh at home against Houston, and Buffalo in Jacksonville.
Not going to Pittsburgh.
I'm just talking about openings.
Oh, okay.
Not just specific to Harbaugh.
Okay.
Well, some more reporting on this that could affect the Titans search if you'd like to include Mike McCarthy in it. Barry Jackson, who we talked about earlier in the week, being on the beat for Miami.
Before you say this, Titans fans better hope to hell there's not better jobs that come open and through the playoff thing, because this is just going to sink. It's not a bad job. This job is not a bad job. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm clear on that. But if you are somebody looking at it from the outside in, the biggest problem with the job is ownership. Huge problem. If you are looking at it externally, if you are somebody who is interested in job security, and if there are going to be more jobs that come open, it's just going to sink lower down the list. This is not a bad job, but it gets worse if these jobs come open.
Barry Jackson reporting, Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley, who the Titans have requested to interview, if I'm remembering that correctly, considered a solid coaching candidate in this cycle. He's a former Boston College head coach, obvious ties to Sullivan. Mike McCarthy also has ties with Sullivan, and I would expect a bunch of interviews for the head job. The second part of this reporting, and then there's this. This came out this morning at 9:44. Longtime Packers reporter Tom Silverstein said Packers, quote, might have to offer him $12 to $15 million a year to lure. He's alluding to the Dolphins. I said that. $12 to $15 million a year to lure Coach Matt LaFleur into signing an extension. If the two can't reach an agreement, it's hard to believe that Sullivan wouldn't be interested in bringing LaFleur to Miami to pair with their new general manager.
So McCarthy, basically, like they just let his contract expire and then he's available for anybody to hire.
Essentially, or yes, 100%. So
because that's how the Titans got John Fossil. Their contracts were up, and they were just like, okay, well, we don't have a boss here. Can I go somewhere else?
So if LaFleur did become available, he would become the 1B to Harbaugh as the number one coaching candidate in the cycle, and it looks like the Dolphins would have a straight road to at least have a conversation about adding him as their next head coach.
But don't any of those scenarios seem plausible?
Yes.
The Packers.
Well, the Packers are the ones that seem that would be bad. I think that would be dumb. I think that would be short-sighted.
Jordan Love's had concussion. Micah Parsons is done for the year. You're on the road in Chicago.
Look what he did with Malik.
Yeah.
Malik Willis. Did you see what Dan Orlovsky tweeted about Malik? That he's going to make $40 or $50 million?
Justin Fields signed a 2-year, $40 million
contract. Well, that's right, because Fitzy tried to tell me that he was going to make $40 million a year. I'm like, you are drunk. I know you don't drink anymore, but you are drunk.
Who, Malik?
Yeah. It's like, you're outrageous. If you told me $40 million over the life of a deal, I might hear you, like if it was, because Fields was 2 years 40, right?
Yep.
So if he got the Justin Fields deal, I would hear you, but like.
Packers fans want him out of there, man.
Insane.
We've got one in our building. Like Tyler Reese over at 103.3. Like we said to him, like, they're going to fire your boy if they lose in Chicago? He goes, they better. So Packers fans are done with Matt LaFleur.
I do think that the Bears being the team that would beat the Packers in this scenario would be the tipping point. Like that would cause that's like Houston for Amy.
That's plausible. Buffalo going into Jacksonville and losing. Josh Allen in a playoffs where the AFC doesn't have to face Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, or Lamar Jackson. If the Bills lose in the wild card round in Jacksonville, who won 4 games a year ago, to me, there's a scenario where Sean McDermott's out of there.
I'd be way more pro firing Sean McDermott than I would Matt LaFleur.
And then Mike Tomlin. Let's say the Steelers score 6 points against the number one defense in the NFL, which feels very plausible. And then the vibes go right back to what they were before that win over Baltimore on Sunday night. Bad.
It could be worse because you're not losing to like the Chiefs or the Patriots. You just lost to C.J. Stroud.
Yeah. And fans don't decide if the coach is in or out, but Like, the noise has been growing in Pittsburgh. You got Ben Roethlisberger on his podcast saying, it's probably time for it to be over with Mike Tomlin.
He did walk that back, though.
Oh, did he? I missed that.
He did walk that back.
Well, that's because he was getting dragged by people saying, well, Ben's just trying to stay relevant by talking about Mike Tomlin on his podcast that nobody listens to.
And there was reporting around Tomlin where there's, even if he loses to the, Lord, I can't even talk today, the Texans in the playoffs, there would not be cause for concern this year. He still has a year left on his deal, and the Steelers beat writer was arguing that he has more value to other teams, so the Steelers would not be willing to cut him. This year, with a year left on his contract, they would try to work on a Sean Payton-esque contract to move him to a destination of his choosing. So I don't think that there would be value in or disvalue in him losing this game, but I don't think it would be enough to get him fired per se, but not necessarily enough to not get him moved.
615-737-1045 is the number. We can talk about some of the difficulties of being a coach in a coaching cycle with Mac, who has a very unique head coaching experience on a couple of different fronts here as we head into the offseason. So we will talk to Coach Dave McInness of Titans Radio coming up next. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. If it can't be accompanied with the best singing, we can at least get you the best analysis from Dave McInness, Coach Dave McInness of Titans Radio, who is made possible each and every week by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Happy Friday, Mac.
Bert's singing voice gets better every time.
I wish so badly that was actually true, Mac. It may be the first lie you've told.
It is.
You call him a liar?
It's about that, yes.
I mean, just the fact that Bert lives in Music City, I think, is helping his voice.
that we haven't got him a record deal by now is really on us more than anything. Always good to have Mac a part of the show. Mac, always appreciate you and the Titans radio crew throughout the course of the season. No, it hasn't been the easiest couple of seasons the last couple of years, but you guys kill it each and every time you go out there and crack a mic, and obviously all the things that you guys are doing in the week leading up with the OTP and everything else. So I don't think I've seen you since the season ended, so I just wanted to make sure that we said that on behalf of us and the audience.
Well, that's very, very kind of you. We take it very seriously. We can't control a whole lot of things, but we can sure control what the product that we put out, and we do work at it. Absolutely.
Well, that's evident to anybody who's ever listened to Titans radio for any period of time. Now, the coaching stuff is just, I mean, it's chaotic every year, Mac, but it does seem a bit disjointed this year. And I obviously, a lot of the people who are involved, and I don't want to put you in a position where we're asking you to comment on some of these people or the jobs, but just like the way that organizations, it's not specific to any one organization, but the things that go into an organization making a decision about a coaching change, I'm sure it varies from place to place. This year, I'm really having a hard time trying to figure out what teams are looking for if they're willing to let go of the likes of John Harbaugh and Mike McDaniel.
Well, the first thing you said was very, very true, is different teams look for different things. I just know when I was involved in this cycle during my coaching career, I interviewed for 3 of these things, got 2 of them. And the thing about it is you never really know when you're going in. You know that you have to be very, very prepared for it. Every interview that I had was a 2-day affair. I mean, and it was, very, very detailed, but they all 3 of them asked different questions, and they all had a different slant as the way that they were coming at it. So you can prepare all that you want, but every one of them is completely different. I mean, just the way they vet people have gotten way different. When I first started, the league would send a film crew to you somewhere in the off season if you were, on the list, so to speak. They would interview you and then send that in, because that was before Zoom, and they would send the interview to the league office, and then teams could look at it, during the time as far as when the season was running, then decide who they wanted to talk to. So it's changed a lot, but the thing that has not changed about it is that first statement that you made, different teams are looking for different things. And so you can never – you can speculate all you want about who might fit where, but you can't pigeonhole anybody, because unless you're inside the building, you really don't have any idea.
Coach Dave McInness of Titans Radio with us. His visit's made possible by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Coach, what goes into the process of preparing for an interview as a head coaching candidate? How dependent is it on the team you're talking to? What was that process like for you?
Well, it's very thorough, and again, as I say, you start preparing very, very early. Not even during that cycle. I mean, while you are climbing the ladder, so to speak, and you have any aspirations to be a head coach, you need to start putting some things in order, because you have to have a pretty good idea once you get into an in-face interview. Have a list of people that you would hire. Have a list of the way that you would do things from the start of being hired all the way through training camp. You have to have a lot of preparation that goes into it. As I said, I had a massive amount of stuff. Of course, it's with your representation that helps you put that together too. But the thing that you have to do, you have to be prepared for anything and everything, not really knowing exactly what they're going to want. It's very, very time-consuming, and it's not something that you just put together, overnight. I mean, it's something that you've thought about, especially if you know that you're going to be on track to at least get a chance to get within the hiring cycle. I mean, that's what it was. That's what it was for me. And as I said, every interview that I had was a 2-day affair, and they were all different. They were all completely different, but you had to have at least some modicum of answers when they would ask you something. And I mean, you got to be prepared for whoever you're interviewing for. What does the whole division look like? Be able to talk about your opponent's roster and be able to talk about the matchups. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it if you really are serious about wanting a chance for it.
We hear so much about the combine interview process and the out of left field questions that draft prospects get. Does that translate over to the head coaching interview process? I mean, have you ever gotten questions that you're just totally unprepared for or almost impossible to prepare for?
Well, I think not impossible to prepare for, but you have to understand, which way it's and who you're talking to. You're going to talk to a lot of different people when you go into interview to be a head coach in the National Football League. And so you have to understand which in each interview process within the same building, what they're trying to point to, what's important to them. So, I mean, there's some things that come up that, like, I tried to give myself a little bit of an idea as much as I could without sounding ignorant on salary cap, where the salary cap was. There are a lot of things you just can't know until you have the job and you sit in it. But there are some questions that come at you. You go, wow, I didn't expect that.
Mac, how often, and again, I know you can only speak to personal experience, although I'm sure you've had conversations with others to some effect. How often do coaches of a certain caliber, whether they've been established head coaches, whether they've won a championship or something like that, go into these interviews with organizations with maybe demands is too strong of a word here, but like things that they are looking for also out of their next organization that the organization has to answer some questions about? Is there that kind of fair exchange in a lot of these dealings, or is it just kind of a team being like, yeah, if you want our head coaching job, this is the deal?
No, that's legitimate, because and again, it depends on how much water in your bucket you've got when you go into it.
Sure.
But at the same time, I mean, I can speak to this from personal experience. Yeah, I went through a job interview where I got the job, but it wasn't presented correctly, and I balked at it and walked the job because there were some things that just were not right, and I wasn't going to just step back and say I want to be a head coach so bad that I'm willing to do this.
Coach Dave McInness of Titans Radio here with us on 104.5 The Zone. You can check out the official Titans podcast, the latest episode with Jeffrey Simmons. So there's a lot of good stuff there. Oh, excuse me, with Mike Borgonzi. There's also another episode recently with Jeffrey Simmons, but Mike Borgonzi on the Coaching Search is the latest OTP. You can get that wherever you get your podcasts. Mac, with the and I know you don't involve yourself in their dealings, but given what Mike Borgonzi stated, both on the OTP and then the press conference with us, this organization was looking for, how has coaching evolved, I guess, where for a long time, and maybe, because I'm an Indiana fan and I look at Bobby Knight and think dictator, that felt like a lot of the mold for a lot of coaches. Maybe they wouldn't successfully pull it off, but that felt like a theme with a lot of guys and how they would try to approach these jobs. In the modern era, it feels like you have to be way more of a partner with your players than ever before. And I wonder what you make of the evolution of your profession.
Well, yeah, I mean, it has changed, but I mean, the league has changed. When I first got into the league, there was no free agency and there was no salary cap. Now, you start really thinking about the difference that would make just in constructing in the way that players, were approached, and also in constructing a roster. I mean, that those two things have flipped the whole story. It was completely different. I've gone through that evolution. So has it changed? Absolutely, it has changed. Some of the core principles have not changed, but it's a different environment that you're working in now, and now with players getting paid in college, I mean, it's professional football. In college now you're dealing with an entirely different mindset of a player. You're dealing with guys that have had representation for 2 or 3 years, maybe different representation to the different places with the transfer portal. That has the landscape, I think, what you're talking about, has changed immensely in all the years I've been doing this.
Coach Dave McInness of Titans Radio, presented by Two Rivers Ford. Coach, Cam Ward's rookie season ends having started all 17 games. Obviously, it came up just short of playing every snap, injured on that opening drive against Jacksonville. But as you take a step back in a few days for the dust to kind of settle on his rookie season, you were there for every practice. You were there for his preparation process. What conclusions do you have from Cam Ward's rookie season? What impressions do you leave with as he heads into an important offseason?
Well, I mean, he went through it as a rookie. As a rookie in this league, it's hard to find your footing, but especially as a rookie quarterback, and as to your point, starting every single game. I mean, he was learning something new every day. And then, not only in the games, but during his preparation week and all of that stuff, I thought that the one thing was, and he had peaks and valleys, because that was to be expected. But the one thing that he did, he stayed constant in the way that he approached it, and he never ever. The guy's he's very, very genuine, and he's very single focused, and that to me was something that he stayed very steady throughout. I mean, you just can't even imagine the learning curve that he was on. So I was impressed, with what he did, and also, I mean, to be able to withstand what he did. I mean, it takes some physical and mental toughness. It's a grind, but he did prove that he was a first in, last out guy, and he also proved that he could bring guys along with him. So I think it's very promising for his future.
Mac, you like the Hoosiers or the Ducks tonight?
You know what? I love the Hoosiers story. I really do. I worked with Kurt Signetti's brother for 5 years at the Rams, Frank Signetti. I mean, it's a football family, but I love the Hoosiers story. I mean, I really do. It's that to me is something that has really, really flipped the NCAA on its ear as far as showing what you can do if you know how to evaluate talent and you put together something. I mean, look, the guy was on Alabama's staff, and he went back to a Division II school just so he could be a head coach. I admire what he's done, so I got to like the Hoosiers.
Well, can I ask you about this? Because the circumstance in college coaching is already a bit fraught with the new landscape, right? Like, it's never been harder to be a college coach, and the hours never more taxing, and like, you're dealing with a lot of different stuff that you probably never thought you'd have to deal with when you aspired to be a coach in the college game. Like, I can't imagine how many programs are going to look at Kurt Signetti and be like, well, why can't I do that? When in reality, Mac, like, maybe I'm biased because I went there and I want them to succeed. And it's insane to me that Indiana football is in the college football playoff, much less the number one team in the country. I have to think that a lot of programs and universities are going to look around at him and probably raise the level of expectation for their coaches and programs, because he seems like such a unicorn in all this, no?
Well, but first of all, you've got, I mean, look, it's the same thing that's going on at Texas Tech. It starts with, you got to have somebody with deep enough pockets to fund all of this. That is the number one thing. And the other thing that is happening, again, I keep pretty close tabs on all of this stuff, is the positions that are becoming extremely important are the personnel departments that evaluate the players. That's huge, especially in this transfer portal, because now, I mean, it's professional football. That's why you have huge scouting departments in the National Football League. And this is even more different because now players in college, I mean, they can leave after a year. They can leave at any time. You have to be able to identify who can come in and help you immediately with cost allocation. I mean, all of that stuff makes a big, big difference. So before you can have a successful coach, you got to have some people with some pretty deep pockets that are willing to finance all of this.
He's Coach Dave McInness of Titans Radio. He's the best, and he is always made possible by the best, the South's most trusted Ford dealer, Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet, or online at tworiversford.com. Mac, I appreciate the time. Thank you, brother.
Guys, always a pleasure. Be talking to you. See you.
Hey, Coach.
Love you, Mac.
Dave McInness of Titans Radio.
He hung up. I didn't do it quick enough. It's okay. Hey, if Coach Mac texts me his bid emoji on Christmas and New Year's, I'm doing okay.
You're in.
I'm in the circle of trust.
You're in.
Did he text you on New Year's?
Yes. Do you feel cheap that he texts everybody?
No, I assumed. He doesn't text everybody.
If he's texting you, he's texting
Robert,
everybody.
you don't have to seek affirmations. You know Mac loves you.
No, I know he loves me. I know he
It
loves
doesn't
me.
sound like it. It sounds like you're trying to convince yourself that he loves you.
No, I know he does. If Coach Mac was in here right now and I told him, Coach, if you don't give me a hug, someone is going to come in here and take everything they love from me. Coach Mac would give me the biggest
hug,
heaviest, deepest, lovingest hug you've ever seen another man give a man.
I think he would look at you and then scoff and then do his little Coach Mac walk away.
Man, you really think very little of Coach Mac.
I think very little of Robert.
Just a little classless.
Just because you think very little of me does not mean other people do not see my value and vision.
I feel like I'm just more comfortable saying it.
Speaking of Kurt Signetti's value and vision, isn't it crazy? Can you tell me, this is one of those prompts where I have something very specific in mind and I need you to guess it. Okay. One thing that all 4 head coaches in the college football playoff semifinals have in common.
Saban.
Yeah, Saban. Of all the Nick Saban assistants that have had varying degrees of success and failure, so many programs across the country that were looking for the one. In Georgia, kind of found it. In Kirby, right? Yeah.
Come on.
No, they found. For Georgia, he is the one.
Come on.
Right? Dan Lanning absolutely has done an incredible job, right, at Oregon. Jimbo won a national championship, successful in his own right.
Quickly, though, you think there's any change of tenor around Dan Lanning should he lose tonight?
No. What he's done to build up that program is...
I'm inclined to agree. But
no, he is established at Oregon and doesn't seem to have any interest in leaving either. But the idea that Kurt Signetti, who didn't get a head coaching job in the Power 4/Power 5 until the age of 62, might end up being the best of the bunch is crazy.
I think he already is.
I think he's obviously not done anything, to the level of what Kirby's done yet. But
I think degree of difficulty, though.
Degree of difficulty, I think Kurt Signetti has done the best coaching job in the history of the sport. And it's hard to think of a close second, in my opinion.
Yeah, like Nick Saban is still the greatest coach in the history of the sport.
There's a difference, right?
And Kirby Smart has pedigree.
There's a difference. Nick Saban is the greatest coach in the history of the sport. Kurt Signetti with Indiana has done the greatest coaching job in the history of the sport.
How dare you try to sell me Ole Miss being even remotely the same kind of good story as Indiana? How dare you?
Or even a championship caliber team.
I'd venture to say Miami's a better story. Are you kidding? Bringing the U back to the top? Please. That's storybook stuff. Who plays Ray Lewis?
Ray for sure wants to play Ray. Except Ray's going to fly to Turkey, get his hair done, and then come back and play Ray Lewis.
Who plays The Rock?
Probably him, too.
They'll just get the guy from Young Rock.
That's right. That's right. They already did that.
What is Young Rock?
There's the Rock retelling his story.
No.
Yeah.
You haven't seen this?
There's a TV show.
Oh,
I would never.
You wouldn't like it, but people who, even people who like wrestling, disliked it. But it's the funny portrayal of famous characters, like who they got to be Stone Cold, who they got to be Undertaker, who they got to be Vince McMahon.
Ed Orgeron. The only clip I ever saw from the show was the part of the show where young Dwayne Johnson meets Ed Orgeron in the Miami locker room.
What? Who plays Ed Orgeron?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to know the guy's name, but it's very funny. It's kind of like the Aaron Hernandez show?
Yes, very Aaron Hernandez.
Like the same vibe.
That would have been my Friday Fire, by the way, the Joe Judge thing, if I was sticking around for Friday Fire.
Hilariously bad depictions of football personalities.
Except for this one is like the young Sheldon Big Bang Theory version of that. Like way less high stakes and way more goofing off about why The Rock didn't make it as Rocky Maivia in the WWE.
That is an interesting story, like his journey through professional wrestling. Because the fact that he was what do they call him, a babyface?
He came in as a babyface. That's correct. A good guy.
Yeah.
For those unfamiliar.
And then, like, all of a sudden decided he was going to go heel. They didn't make him a heel, right?
Well, they put him in position to be heel, but the reason it was notable that he came back as a babyface is because he's a third-generation superstar. His father was a professional wrestler. High Chief Peter Maivia was a professional wrestler. So he had ties to it. His whole life he had been going to wrestling shows. And so when he finally got the opportunity to be in WWE and he thought that the crowd and the audience and the fans would embrace him, like, hey, you guys know me. I've been here. I was here for WrestleMania, watching in the stands. I'm one of you. And they didn't clamor for him or go to him the same way they went to a Shawn Michaels or a Stone Cold Steve Austin. was a little disappointing for him, and another trial and tribulation, because what did he do before wrestling? He was at Miami. He was at the height of the sport. At Miami, a high-tier athlete, and he graduated, and he got no NFL calls. So he was either going to have to go play in the Canadian Football League.
He didn't end up UDFA somewhere?
No.
I thought he had like a cup of coffee in a training camp.
No.
If he did, he was uninspiring.
Like Lesnar. No, yeah, I don't think he did anything, but I think it was like a Brock Lesnar thing where like Lesnar was on the Vikings for like a hot second.
Yeah, he was, and Lesnar actually played in preseason and played semi-well. He got a sack, or similar to Bill Goldberg, who had a cup of coffee with the Panthers and the Falcons.
Maybe I'm mixing up my
Terry
wrestlers.
Crews. He had a few years in the NFL.
But that's why
I feel like I knew that.
That's why I think the Rock story is one of, it's easy to be like, oh, that guy's a big movie star, but like he failed at everything he did until he didn't. It's a story of...
And now he's the highest billing actor in Hollywood, even though his movies are awful.
Still not the best. That Smashing Machine did not live up to the expectations.
Really?
It just wasn't the Oscar-winning performance that he thought that it was going to be. And he's still playing second fiddle to Batista, who is the best wrestler turned actor in...
For sure.
Just exceptional in everything that he plays. I think John Cena is getting there.
Cena's a good actor.
With what's his HBO
Peacemaker.
superhero show, Peacemaker?
Yeah. I haven't watched Peacemaker.
I started it. I got kind of tired of it, but it was good.
The one Cena vehicle I have seen is, what's that movie where he's like running through the swamp away from, who's the dad in National Treasure?
John Voight?
Yeah. Isn't John Voight and John Cena in a movie? Like he's like this state trooper or something like that.
Sounds about right.
Running through the swamps of Florida. I don't know. It's some ordeal.
Terry Crews was an 11th round draft pick in 1991. What's the best game of Wild Card Weekend?
I have to think it's Packers-Bears.
Yeah.
There's too much hate. Did you, either of you, I don't imagine you did, Robert. Lucas, you might have. Kevin Byard, the interview that he did with Taylor and Will?
I didn't catch any of it. Yeah.
It was really, really good because he goes, like he was talking to Taylor about, well, who is the Titans' biggest rival? Like, who was our biggest rival when they were on the team together? And he said, I don't know, maybe the Jags.
Yeah.
Probably at that point in time, he goes, it's not even close, Bears-Packers.
Oh, sure.
Like, it's a totally different level.
I'd call it the best in the league.
Well, it's the oldest in the league for sure.
Yeah.
That, to hear Kevin talk about that game, I don't know. I miss Kevin Byard, just media availabilities. Kevin KB, for as long as we did, was a really nice thing, and I'm glad to see him do.
A classic traditional rivalry like that in the wild card round is awesome.
Right?
Awesome.
The worst of them feels like it's going to be Chargers-Patriots. I don't know. That feels kind of stinky.
As far as being a good game goes,
I feel like that has the most potential.
Texans and Steelers, I think, is the most to be like bathroom break time, where it's like no offense. Either the Texans are going to crush them, or it's going to be one of the ugliest playoff games we have ever seen.
Like, I could see that being kind of like that Niners-Seahawks game for the 1 seed the other week, 13-3. The Seahawks just stifle San Francisco. I could see that. It is in Pittsburgh. But I think
I don't think that matters.
Yeah.
I think that defense is going to mug you no matter where they play.
No, Packers-Bears could be high drama.
All right. Jim is in Nashville next. Hey, Jim.
Yes, sir. I have a question about the Bills-Jaguars. I mean, how much pressure do you think, like Sean McDermott, Brandon Beane, even Josh Allen are under to win this game somehow Sunday afternoon? I mean, Patrick Mahomes is out, the guy who snubbed us many times from proceeding in the playoffs. Right, and the Ravens quarterback's out. I mean, do you think Terry Pagula could shake it up if the Bills lose on Sunday?
Hell yeah,
an early exit.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't know about the standing of Brandon Beane, the general manager there. Appreciate the call, Jim. And Josh Allen. Yeah, to his point, no Burrow, no Lamar, no Mahomes. It's all the young dudes, right? Like, you should be the guy. Who's the Super Bowl favorite right now? Is it the Seahawks?
It's Seattle.
Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know that anybody faces more pressure than Buffalo.
Top to bottom.
In this postseason.
It feels...
To take advantage of this moment, I don't think anybody does.
But, nobody's really looking at them as like, well, they should be able to take advantage of this moment because they're not overwhelming.
Jags are hot.
That's worst case scenario for them. One and done because the Jags have won 6 in a row.
People will want Sean McDermott gone in Buffalo if they lose this game.
What if Trevor Lawrence ends up being like legit? That would be.
Jags are underdogs at home.
They shouldn't be. I don't think so. I think Buffalo has the Mad Max component that you can't count on with any of these other teams where Josh Allen can just kind of will you to a win. But I don't know. Jacksonville's definitely the better team.
So you're off to Atlanta.
I am.
Robert, do we have anything good to give away for Friday Fire?
Oh, we do. I'm sure. Dadgummit. Yeah, it's coming up. But first, I want to ask Buck his opinion on the game. You've never been to an Indiana football game before.
Yeah.
Every sporting event you go to is a loss for the home team.
Famously.
Is Indiana considered the home team?
They're the favorite.
Who is technically the home team? Important question here.
Very important.
Indiana is technically hosting in Atlanta.
So they'll lose, yeah?
Oh, wow.
Like, there's no way that I go to this game and they don't lose.
We have incredible tickets for Friday.
What do we have?
What do you have?
Chris Stapleton tickets.
Ooh. Oh, he's playing Nissan Stadium.
That is correct. He will be at Nissan Stadium.
Why don't we just keep those?
May 23rd with special guest, I hate Laney Wilson, and Alan Stone.
Why do you hate Laney Wilson?
Because she don't really talk like this. You don't really talk like that, Laney.
You don't know that.
You don't.
People probably say that about you.
My husband's a duck hunter. I'm hosting it. Hey, y'all. Hey, Mama. I'm on TV.
You don't sound like that, lady. Laney.
You sound like that. Why can't she sound like that?
I do not sound like
Stop
that.
it.
In fact, I would say the diction that is required to do this job is much of a higher standard than Laney could ever aspire to be.
What is
615-737-1045. The best submission for Friday Fire, something that made you feel good, feel positive, is headed to Chris Stapleton and Laney Wilson and company at Nissan Stadium in May.
What's your question?
Do you think Indiana can do it?
Oh, yeah.
No.
615-737-1045. So much easier to be positive about things when Buck's not here. He's off to Atlanta. And we are here to give you tickets to Chris Stapleton at Nissan Stadium in May. All you got to do is tell us what made you feel good, what made you feel positive. It can be in sports. It can be in life. 615-737-1045. The best submission will get the tickets. Brett Kern will be in studio coming up in hour 3 to preview the football weekend. But before then, we will go to you. I'll start the bidding. My Friday Firebird is this little pregame tradition, I guess. To be honest, I don't know if it's a tradition because I just saw this last night. But Miami's entire offensive line, who has been a big reason for its success and for getting to this point, a big part of their identity under Mario Cristobal, gets together yesterday before the Fiesta Bowl against Ole Miss to run out onto the field, the offensive line unit with their offensive line coach huddled up in the tunnel. Fans are kind of hovering over them, trying to high-five them, as you do before a position group runs out onto the field. And they have this little pregame ritual. They're all holding a little cafecito.
Oh, I did see this.
A little Cuban coffee. And their coach is giving them their pregame talk. And they all go cheers, and they down that little shot of coffee and run out onto the field.
They have them on the sideline. They have Cuban coffee on the sideline.
That's awesome. I love that. That's a cool tradition to blend the culture of the place that you're playing college football and just the vibe of the program. Mario Cristobal, obviously somebody with Cuban heritage. I thought that was really cool. That's my Friday Fire.
That's very cool. Very cool. Something I think is very cool is local journalism. It is not dead. See, I had a number of things I could have brought to you. We talked about Chudy, the Rhino, who, if our theory is correct, Chudy actually picked this successful team. Remember, he knocked over the Miami box, and they're like, no, he picks the loser.
No, he picks winners.
That's dumb. He picks winners. We told you that yesterday. I could have went with Snoop Dogg, who was on commentary for the Warriors game, and when, what's the Warriors head coach's name?
Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr gets ejected. He's like, oh, let him go, let him go.
Oh, so good.
I could have brought that to you, but instead, I thought it was time to highlight some real local journalism. Were you familiar with Mitch Griffiths, former Wake Forest starter? He was the backup to Brendan Sorsby this year in Texas Tech.
Well, was the backup to Brendan Sorsby is Texas Tech's new quarterback.
Oh, no. You are correct. Yeah, who was Texas Tech's old quarterback?
Oh,
anyway,
of course the name's going to escape me now.
He backed that guy up. He's
Barron Morton.
Barry Morton.
Barron.
Barry. I'll call him Barry. I call him Barry. Mitch Griffiths reportedly is going to East Carolina in the transfer portal, which is big news. But it wasn't on 3. It wasn't Pete Nakos. It wasn't Pete Thamel. None of the Petes. It was good old Facebook, where a post goes up, my son just committed to play football at East Carolina. He's looking for a furnished house or townhome with a fenced-in backyard to rent in Greenville, North Carolina for next year. Needs to move in as soon as possible. Thank you. And that was posted by Robin Hurd Griffiths, his grandmother. Someone, took a picture of this, screenshot it on their phone, and tweeted, I think we got Mitch Griffiths, the Texas Tech transfer. That tweet happened at 6:38. On 3, tweeted out at 6:45, Mitch Griffiths has announced he will play football at East Carolina. Don't let anyone tell you that local journalism is dead, and don't let anyone tell you those Facebook groups that you're in aren't worth anything, because you will find out some nuggets. Also find out a bunch of crap, but you will find out some nuggets. Mitch Griffiths headed to play for the Pirates. That is my Friday Fire.
Congrats on getting your quarterback.
Well, as soon as he came in, our freshman that won the bowl game for us against Pitt entered the transfer portal.
Of course.
What a weenie. He wasn't that good. Have fun playing at Charlotte or FCS Midwest, you jerk.
Meemaw breaking the news of a quarterback acquisition in the transfer portal by taking to Facebook because her grandson just moved to Greenville. Or was his mother or grandmother?
Grandmother.
But the post said my son, right?
Oh, well, maybe it was. Okay.
So mama breaking the news on Facebook because her son is moving to Greenville and needs help finding a place.
The reason I thought it was his grandparents is because the story is his grandparents met and both went to East Carolina.
There's the tie. Very cool. 615-737-1045. Chris Stapleton tickets on the line. Jay in Spring Hill starts the bidding. Hey, Jay.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Hey, so my emotional time this weekend was, this is the last year of the Nissan Stadium, and we've been ticket holders since they moved to Memphis. So I tuned in to the live stream of the Buffalo Bills closing ceremony at the stadium. And it was really cool, very emotional. But when they showed Marv Levy on the scoreboard, broadcasting from his home, he really fired up the crowd, and it it just reminds me what is the Titans going to do at the end. But anyway, it was very, very positive, and just brought a lot of excitement just watching the Buffalo fans for 52 years.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Jay. That's a good submission. That's not something that's probably crossed the minds yet because new Nissan Stadium is making progress. It looks closer and closer to a finished product every day, it seems. But I feel like that did just hit me the other day, Robert. I thought about for the first time after the Titans finale against Jacksonville, it really is just one season left at the Nissan Stadium where everybody became Titans fans and where the Music City Miracle happened and where all of these moments where you grew up going to games. So that's going to hit me at the end of the 2026 season when they finish out a game for the final time at current Nissan Stadium. Good submission by Jay. Waddy in Nashville is next. Hey, Waddy. Fantastic. It's good stuff. Very positive. Got Robert in tears.
I didn't think it would touch me like that.
Hunter in Sparta is next. Hey, Hunter.
Hey, how's it going, fellas?
Good, man.
Mine is going to be let you down, Max Gilbert, going to transfer portal to Arkansas, and the Vols actually picking up maybe a kicker.
Thank you for the call. Max Gilbert is headed to Arkansas, who, by the way, heads to Tennessee next year. And yes, Tennessee, I don't have the name in front of me, has picked up the kicker out of Louisville in the transfer portal to come in and replace Gilbert. Gilbert ends up finishing as one of the most accurate kickers percentage-wise in Tennessee history, but obviously had some very pivotal misses at very important times, the Georgia game, the Oklahoma game, the Illinois game in the Music City Bowl. So, yes, Max Gilbert heads to Fayetteville. He will play in Neyland at some point this year, but the Vols did get their guy. I'll try to effort the name of the kicker out of Louisville here whenever I can. Bob in Clarksville is next. Hey, Bob.
My Friday fire is this morning I accepted a new job offer that's going to benefit my family greatly. Text message from my kids at school. All three of my kids made honor roll last semester, so they're just killing it.
Wow, okay. Big day for Bob. New job, kids make honor roll.
See, this is tough, though, Bob, because you only get one ticket. Who are you going to take with you if you win? Would you take your wife? Would you take one of your kids?
Which kid got the highest grade?
I got to take my...
You cut out there, but I think you said you're going to take your wife. That's a great submission by Bob. By the way, Cooper Ranvier, the name of the Louisville kicker, transfer was 21 of 25 on field goals for Louisville last year and heads to Tennessee. Speaking of portal, Jordan Ross, the edge rusher that, to me, unexpectedly hit the portal from Tennessee, former five-star, headed to play for Lane Kiffin and LSU. And Pete Nakos just dropped that Miami is hosting Sam Levitt for a visit as things intensify for the Arizona State quarterback who was on campus in Knoxville earlier this week. So next week, I'm sure there will be more portal developments at quarterback for the Vols. Scott is up next to finish us out here on Friday Fire. Hey, Scott.
What's up, fellas? The only thing cooler than the Indiana story, and Kurt Signetti has to be Pat Coogan, winning Rose Bowl MVP. So that's my Friday Fire, and appreciate it.
Thanks for the call, Scott. All right. What do we think, Bert? I'm between Jay with the Bill Stadium.
Yes.
Just kind of reminding us. Did I say the Vols host Arkansas? The Vols go to Fayetteville next year. My mistake. Thank you for Smashville's finest reminding me that on Twitter. Jay on the Bill Stadium saying goodbye to Highmark Stadium, reminding us that the Titans will experience the same thing this coming season. And Bob, who got a new job and his kids made the honor roll.
Yeah, I got to go with Bob.
Yeah, we got to go with Bob. Bob, you're headed to Chris Stapleton. Congrats. Appreciate everybody for chiming in. This is quietly one of the best football weekends of the year. We get past the new year and all the great bowl games and the start of the college football playoff. And now here we are, college football playoff semifinals, wild card weekend, and we're going to pick the games with Titans legend Brett Kern next. It is 12:02. Good afternoon from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Down studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. One half of the national championship game is set as Miami heads back to Hard Rock Stadium to play for a title after beating Ole Miss 31-27 in the Fiesta Bowl. Carson Beck leading a game-winning 2-minute drive and running in the game-winning score with 18 seconds on the clock, and Ole Miss coming up short in the final exchanges. Tonight, it is Oregon and Indiana in the Peach Bowl, kickoff at 6:30. The Titans have submitted interview requests for 2 more coaching candidates as of today, according to Adam Schefter, and Rams defensive coordinator Chris Shula and Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter. The Titans also are requesting to speak with former Cowboys and Packers head coach Mike McCarthy. The team today is conducting a virtual interview with former Cowboys coach Jason Garrett. College hoops this weekend. Tennessee hits the road to Florida, taking on the Gators tomorrow. Tip-off at 11 a.m. You can hear the Vault Network call right here on The Zone. And Vanderbilt looks to stay undefeated, a chance to tie a school record with the 16-0 start as they host LSU at noon. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. Final hour of the show of the week, and what a great football weekend it is that got started last night with the college football playoff semifinals. Welcome back. We are fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best way to enjoy your college football weekend. Head to HattieB.com or download the Hattie B's app. You can always walk into any one of their 7 Middle Tennessee locations. Pick yourself up a big old bucket of hot chicken, whatever spice you like, grilled or fried. Even get a Southern salad if that's what floats your boat. And sit back and enjoy the football. We're going to pick games because Titans legend Brett Kern is in studio with us. What's up, Brett?
What's going on? Pretty boring game last night.
Pretty boring, right?
Yep.
Pretty sleepy.
Sleepy. Fell asleep. Actually, I did go to bed in the fourth quarter. I woke up early to play basketball this morning, but looked like a heck of a finish.
Do you get, how bad is your FOMO when you do that? Like, do you go to bed worried? Are you anxious at all that you're going to miss a thrilling ending?
Well, first of all, I go to bed, I go to bed at the normal time, but yes, I usually wake up about an hour early from my alarm because I'm afraid I'm going to miss my alarm. So now I'm waking up at, 3:45, 4 o'clock to get ready for basketball. But then, yeah, I mean, it's like the way that game was going and it just was back and forth. I knew that the fourth quarter was going to be probably pretty epic, and it was, right? I know the Carson Beck scoring, really late in the game, 18 seconds left, and then for Ole Miss to get into position just to even get the Hail Mary, and then you can obviously have the conversation of, we were talking about it earlier, like that's a pass interference if that's in the first quarter, second quarter, right? And so, Hail Mary, I just feel like whether it's NFL, college, it's just kind of a WWE, hey man, as long as it's not egregious and you're tackling somebody, you can kind of get away with anything. So that would have been crazy to end really on another Hail Mary. It just would have been a lot closer, but still heck of a game.
It felt like such a textbook pass interference. The more you watch it back, the more it looks like.
You watch it in slow-mo, it's I mean, it's PI.
It should have been
But
a
you just
penalty.
feel like they don't call it very often,
I have a toxic thing where I have such bad FOMO of missing out on moments like that no matter what the situation is, like I can be set to, there was a game, like a random Thursday night football game back in September between Cardinals and Seahawks where the Cardinals had a lead and the Seahawks came back, and I was going to fill in and do the morning show with Ramon. I had to be up at like 4:30 in the morning. And I can't go to bed. I went to bed and my phone like pinged that the Cardinals were giving up the ball and the Seahawks were driving to tie the game and send it to overtime. And I went back to my living room, watched the whole game, ended up getting maybe 3-4 hours of sleep. But I can't not do it.
As you get older, you realize that sleep is a priority over watching a fourth quarter of a college football playoff semifinals. So yeah, that's just where I'm at. And but still, I mean, even last night was a great game. I anticipate tonight will be a thriller too. So,
but for how much we're talking about Indiana, and rightfully so. Buck, by the way, is off to Atlanta.
He's gone.
He's going to his first ever Indiana football game. and he's going to pretend like he cares. He's going to be a front runner for
He's got all the swag.
the Hoosiers. He's got all his gear.
Little slim fit, but yeah, it looks good.
And he is going to watch as Indiana, who are favored by 3.5 points, and we'll pick that game coming up in the next segment, take on Dan Lanning in Oregon. And they are the story of the college football season, the college football playoff. But Carson Beck, cast off by Georgia.
Yeah.
Landing at Miami, considering going to the draft, ends up getting his $4 million or so at Miami. A lot of people don't like Carson Beck.
Yeah.
He and this Miami team, led by an incredible defense, dominant in the trenches, looked like national championship contenders in the first half of the season. But the way their season dipped, and they lost 2 very winnable games against inferior opponents in Louisville and SMU, and looked like they were done, Brett. And out of even the ACC championship discussion, and now here they are. They look like a team that can push around anybody in the country. They have looked like that team throughout the playoff, going through Texas A&M, Ohio State, and now Ole Miss.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just playing complementary football, just in general. I think when you can get after the quarterback, I know they only had 1 sack last night. I was kind of surprised with that. But if you're able to get after the quarterback, affect him, and Chambliss is just, I mean, he's special. His ability to, I mean, he throws a really good ball. He's able to maneuver, get out of the pocket, throw on the run. But when you can get after a quarterback with your 4, that leaves you a lot to do on the defensive side, you know, on the second level, third level, just in coverage and where you're sending your blitzes from, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, Carson Beck, I think his biggest knock, you know, at Georgia was just making the mistakes and making, you know, it was 1 pick, 2 pick, 3 picks in a game. I feel like, he had an interception last night. You know, we're just, it's one of those obviously hits off the helmet. It goes, which is crazy to me. Just side note that the Jets didn't get any of that this year. They didn't have an interception, the New York Jets, and they didn't get one off the helmet. Like they didn't get one by accident, which is crazy. Anyways, but you know, that interception, yeah, it's a tip drill, hits off a helmet, and it was a great diving interception. But he's been able to take care of the ball. Fletcher's been able to run it. It feels like, you know, he's getting 4 or 5 yards downfield before he's even being contacted. So, you know, they're winning in the trenches. And when you can win in the trenches, this is obviously what it looks like. Miami's, a lot of people said they shouldn't be in. They're in, and they're proving why they should be in. And here now they get to play in a national championship game in their home stadium.
By the way, it's too late for the dumbest thing in sports. That's on Wednesdays. I don't know if you saw this. The New York Jets took to Twitter yesterday. And I think Robert sent this in and tweeted, hey, we're the first team since the 2023 season to start the same 5 offensive linemen for all 17 games.
God, congratulations.
And the replies, like, maybe should have kept that one in the drafts after being the first team in NFL history to somehow not have a single interception on defense. Just a remarkable stat. But to your point, it feels like I've been waiting for that Carson Beck death pick for the entire playoff, and it just hasn't come.
Just hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you look at what he has surrounding him in a true freshman in Malachi Toney. That was
we were
fantastic.
talking about him earlier, just, you know, kind of especially on punt return. He hasn't really had to do that much, but, you know, kind of those Devin Hester comparisons. And you could see it. I mean, that Tyreek Hill, Devin Hester type just ability. Man, he's a dog. So, and like I said, I love the way Fletcher's running the ball. Fletcher Jr., you know, 22 carries last night for 133. It's a shame, you know, Quan Lacey got hurt, you know, with that hamstrings. I think he was a shade under 100 yards. Obviously, he didn't have many carries, you know, coming back, and was
finished at 103 on the day on 11 carries.
Yeah, it was almost like a decoy. Obviously, had that long run,
73-yard touchdown, which I think is where you didn't see him pull up, but as he's crossing the 30, he kind of starts to jog. And then defenders are closing, and he picks his speed up, runs into the end zone. Didn't come back until the second half after that touchdown.
Yeah, it's just weird. You know, when you're running at that high pace, and then you kind of slow down and then have to pick back up again. I don't know if he just tweaked something, but obviously affected him, you know, the rest of the game. And I mean, he's a special back. And so, you know, could things been a little bit different if he was fully healthy? You know, time of possession, something like that. But, yeah, I mean, congrats to Miami. Now they get to play for a natty in Hard Rock, their home stadium.
So the Ole Miss story with Pete Golding comes to an end, and now he tries to sort through his coaching staff, many of them on to LSU to work for Lane Kiffin. And Miami, like you said, moves on to play a national championship in their home stadium, awaiting the winner of Indiana, Oregon. We'll preview that here in a moment. If you want to chime in with Brett Kern, 615-737-1037. 1045 is how you do that. We are also on 1045 The Zone TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. So, to reset where things are in the Titans coaching search, today, it may have already happened for all we know. The Titans meet with, virtually, former Cowboys coach Jason Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
And
leader of men.
Leader of men.
Mm-hmm.
And we learned today from Adam Schefter that the Titans have requested to talk to Rams defensive coordinator Chris Shula and Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter, the two DCs out of Los Angeles. Yesterday, it was reported that the Titans will indeed talk to Mike McCarthy. What has been your impression overall of the names that the Titans are showing interest in throughout this process?
I mean, it's a mixed bag. I feel like they're, looking at offensive guys, defensive guys, guys that, haven't had head coaching experience yet, guys that are, Mike McCarthy, Jason Garrett, obviously, successful head coaches that have coached in this league. So you have ties, Matt Nagy. I don't know if they have anything with Harbaugh set up. I'm sure, John can pretty much pick his
Nothing that we've
place.
seen,
Yeah. So, but, obviously Nagy and his experience with Borgonzi. And I think people sometimes, I feel like I heard some stuff about Nagy and, some chatter of, he wasn't very good in Chicago. And I think some people tend to get that confused. I mean, he went 34-31, which is obviously a winning record, took him to a playoff game. But then I think it's just confused with Eberflus, because then Eberflus came in right in after and went 14-32. And I think it's just, if you're not, familiar and it's just kind of blurred all together, you probably can get the two confused. So I think, Nagy's a great candidate. But, I love that they're looking at offensive guys, defensive guys. And I think what's important, at least to me and my experience, is just getting somebody that is, we kind of joke about it, but that is a leader of men, somebody that can be the CEO. Because I've had coaches where, they're with Wisenhunt, he was very offensive minded, obviously. And so I didn't really see him much, didn't talk to him much. Where Malarkey was a floater, Coach Vrabel was in almost every special teams meeting. You'd have conversations with him, same with Malarkey. But then if you have somebody that's solely focused on the offense, offensive coordinator, whether they're calling plays, prepping, all the stuff that goes into that, you don't really see them much. And so for me personally, some of my favorite head coaches were guys that they were just the head coach. They were able to delegate. They were manager of people, and were able to be in meetings, offensive meetings, defensive meetings, special teams meetings. And so they were able to talk to you during a game. If something was going on, what did you see? They could do it offensively, defensively, and special teams. And so I just think that's important for them to find somebody along those lines.
Just out of curiosity, what was Mike Shanahan? How involved was Mike Shanahan in special teams?
Gosh, that's going way back.
For context, your rookie year was in Denver. Mike Shanahan's last year as the Broncos coach.
Last year, yeah. And my locker was next to John Lynch, which is crazy. And now he's the GM, been the GM for the Niners for a long time. But yeah, I mean, he was kind of a floater. He really didn't say much. He was just kind of he was actually a lot like Coach Fisher, Jeff Fisher. Just would have conversations with you, kind of soft spoken. If he had to say something to you, he wouldn't necessarily like yell at you, but he let you know how he felt or what he wanted you to do. And so he was never gonna kind of call you out in front of somebody and make you feel disrespected. Which I really appreciated, especially as a rookie, your first year in the league, and you're just, trying to put your head above water. So, but yeah, I loved Coach Shanahan, and he was, like I said, he was a floated around, and you'd see his head pop in the training room, check on guys, and it could be popping in the weight room to check on guys. So he was a great coach.
To your point, total mixed bag, right? You've got veteran coaches like Mike McCarthy that the Titans are talking to. You've got guys that have recently been head coaches like Kevin Stefanski, guys that would be a first-time head coach like a Chris Shula. And we were talking about it earlier today. The one thing the Titans have not requested is a conversation with a rising first-time potential head coach, offensive play caller, where really the only one that is firmly on the market is Clint Kubiak.
Right.
Joe Brady is going to speak with, or at least the Ravens have requested to speak with Bills offensive coordinator Joe Brady, but there's not as many of those candidates as there were 2 years ago when the Titans ended up hiring Brian Callahan, or even last year when someone like Ben Johnson was on the market again. But you have played under all sorts of different profiles of coaches. Mike Shanahan, obviously, legend. Jeff Fisher, guys getting their first crack at it like Mike Vrabel or Nick Sirianni for that matter.
Right.
Or guys getting, or like a Josh McDaniels, right? What's his first head coaching job? How apparent is that to you as a player? Seeing a guy like Josh McDaniels come in, especially replacing someone like Mike Shanahan, right? With just the weight that name carries in this league. And it hasn't worked out for McDaniels in his head coaching career. But how apparent is it to you as a player when you're seeing a coach getting just his feet under him in that role for the first time, as opposed to playing for a coach like Jeff Fisher or Mike Shanahan that's been doing it for years and years?
Yeah, I mean, I think the hard part with McDaniels is when he came in, he was given full control of the roster, and then he was young too. I think he was only 34, 35. He might have been even younger, honestly. And so I think that's tough, and that's a lot to ask on a first-year head coach. It's just a lot. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just really how you command respect, demand respect, how you're giving respect, how you're communicating. You're laying out expectations, and to me, like you're consistent, right? So you're consistently, if you got to call me out or a couple other people out, right? You're calling everybody out. You're not just going to take your top 4 or 5 star players and be like, well, you know what, they can kind of, I'm just not going to, I don't want to upset them because I don't want to, them ask for a trade or whatever, whatever comes with that. But I think really just, I mean, like I said, we joke around, like just being a leader of men, being able to communicate, demand respect, and also give respect, be honest to you. And so I think it's important for the Titans too. They don't have to do it, but I think it's important just to, that's what you get with a head coach that's already done it. Someone that's been there, someone that has experience. And Vrabel kind of got that. He did get that just because he had played for so long. And his ability to communicate the X's and O's, every little detail, every little situation that we would watch on Friday, it's just like, I'm going to respect this guy, right? And he would respect you back. And so I just think it's important. I think it's a slippery slope when you go down that road of a first-year head coach, first year. There's just a lot on their plate, and that can be difficult. It can be overwhelming. And so I just think it's important to get somebody, that has already head coaching experience and can delegate.
All right, we've got one more college football playoff semifinal and a whole round of wild card matchups in the NFL this weekend. Let's pick some games with Brett Kern coming up next. All right, cherish it. We don't get a lot of this left in this calendar year. College football playoff semifinal tonight to determine who plays Miami at Hard Rock Stadium in the national championship. NFL wildcard weekend. A precious few football weekends remain. We're fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best way to fuel your football watching weekend. And Brett Kern is in studio. Buck mercifully has left us. He's off to Atlanta to watch his Hoosiers.
Do you think he's listening right now? There's no way.
No shot.
Yeah.
No shot. Robert Walsh, shall we start picking games?
We shall. And we'll start with the biggest college football game left this week. Indiana, a 3.5-point favorite with Kurt Signetti taking on Oregon and Dan Lanning. How do you guys feel about it?
I mean, the Ducks' only loss of the season came at home versus the Hoosiers, in which the game was tied until Indiana scored with 6:23 left in the fourth quarter and put it away on a chip shot field goal with 2:06 left. Ducks will be without Jordan Davison, who he had 15 rushing touchdowns this year, so that's a lot of production to try to fill. But, I mean, look, Indiana's third in scoring, Oregon's ninth in scoring in the country, Indiana's second in scoring D, and Oregon sixth. So, obviously, these two teams are loaded offensively, defensively, and both are coming off very impressive wins. In Oregon shutting out Texas Tech, which is crazy, and then Indiana's blowout over Bama, 38-3. So, 3.5, I think Indiana's going to cover this one.
Indiana sacked Dante Moore 6 times in that first meeting. You know, it's Kurt Signetti has almost entered this era, and he's done it in one season, Brett, where this process started last year, right? But Indiana got to the college football playoff and kind of did the thing that we expected, right? Wow, amazing that you did this. But, yeah, that makes sense. Notre Dame routes Indiana in the first round. But this year, he has already put himself in a place where I'm over here saying, I can't bet against Kurt Signetti. And that's a place that I reached with Nick Saban, right? That so many people reached with Nick Saban in big games. Like, how are you supposed to pick against? It's incredible that he's done that in less than 2 seasons. But I think I'm with you. It's so hard right now to sit here with what Indiana has done. Every challenge they've come across this year, they've met it not just with this air of the sparky underdog. They're not even close to that in terms of how they carry themselves. It's like, no, we're supposed to do this.
Right.
And they've done it at every turn. So, yeah, I can't sit here and pick against them. Like it doesn't compute in my brain to think that Indiana is suddenly going to stop doing what's gotten them to this point.
Like, what do you call, if they win the Natty, what do you call the movie? Like, there's already Hoosiers.
Right.
Right. You can't do like Hoosiers Part 2. You're quick-witted. What do you got?
For Miami?
No, if Indiana wins the national championship.
Oh, but probably be like, who's your daddy?
There you go. That's it. Who's your daddy?
Got it.
It's amazing because they're favored. They're the number 1 overall seed. But at the same time, bird's eye view, it's all just one big upset, what's happening with Indiana football, right? And every underdog story, Brett, that you can point to, just this year alone, like Texas Tech, won the Big 12 and is in the college football playoff. But number 1, I can point to something. I can point to the investment that they made. And there was also a breaking point there where they just didn't have the horses to score or drive the football against Oregon, right? It's like Indiana's just skipped that part. And they've gone straight to being dominant.
Yeah. I thought I read something, Mark Cuban donating a little bit to the NIL.
Oh, the money's only going to keep coming.
That'll help.
For Kurt Signetti and the Hoosiers. So and I agree. I think Indiana wins and covers tonight. Minus 3.5 against Oregon at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
To the NFL, where the largest spread in the weekend lies in the Rams and Panthers game. The Rams, 10.5-point favorites.
Gosh, that's a lot.
At home, or it's at the Panthers, because the Rams were unable to secure the NFC West division title. They will head to Charlotte. Do you feel like Bryce Young and the Panthers are up to the challenge, or Sean McVay will nerd out his way on in the playoffs?
I mean, look, they met Week 13. Carolina won it 31-28. The Rams had 3 turnovers. Carolina had 0. Matt Stafford threw 2 picks. And one of those was a pick 6, had a fumble. And, Bryce Young was efficient. 15 of 20 for 206, 3 TDs, and the rushing game, the running game was on point, 40 rushes for 164. But, the Panthers have been inconsistent all year. They lost the last 2 games to the Bucs and Seahawks, but the previous 10 games, they won every other week. Haven't really put together a winning streak. Last week they rushed for 19 yards. Week before that it was 99 yards. And then week 17 against the Seahawks, Bryce Young passed for 54 yards, but in mid-November he set the franchise record with 448. And then after he threw for 448, the next game he had a 13.7 QBR against the 49ers. So they've just been kind of up and down all year, inconsistent. So which team will show up? They needed a lot to happen to beat the Rams, but it happened. So, Matt Stafford, we've talked about him, MVP candidate, if not the front runner, threw for 4,700 yards, led the league, 46 touchdowns. They're 3-3 in their last 6, but they are getting Devontae Adams back and Quentin Lake. And Adams, he missed the last 4 weeks and still leads the NFL with 14 receiving touchdowns, 9 of them in goal to go. So obviously he's a red zone weapon that they'll love to have back. So 10.5 is a lot, but I think the Panthers are going to cover. I just think that's a high spread. Rams are going to win it, but that's a lot.
Yeah, road favorites are kind of the theme of Wild Card Weekend. 4 out of these 6 games, the road team is favored. 10.5, it's a huge spread. Matt Stafford's turnovers, like you said, the story of that one game, 1/4 of his 8 interceptions came in that game alone. I struggle with the 10.5-point spread, Brett, but the Panthers are not playing anything close to their best football right now.
Yeah. I think at home, they haven't been there since 2015. I think that's going to help. Just how much will it help? Like I said, I mean, I could easily go both ways. I just think a home playoff game, they're going to be juiced up. The Rams win. I just think that they cover, they cover that 10.
You think Panthers cover?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Panthers don't cover.
Yeah,
I think the Rams cover the 10.5 in this game.
Absolutely.
I could just see this defensive front just smothering Bryce Young the way that has happened in the last 2 games. Panthers with the 17-point loss to Seattle in the penultimate game of the regular season. I suppose you're right. There could be some juice there, and they show up to Bank of America Stadium. They've been an up-and-down team all year. It would be very, very Panthers for them to show up and have an inspired performance in this game. But I'm going to go with how they finished the season. I'm going to say Rams cover the 10.5, as big as a spread as that is. Bert?
It kind of feels like this would be the opportunity for Sean McVay to right the wrongs from the regular season. Widely thought of as the best team in the league for a number of weeks, and didn't even get an opportunity to fight for the number 1 seed because of the schedule situation between the 49ers and the Seahawks. I feel like Sean McVay, an underrated part of his game, I feel like, is getting his guys ready to play. Like we talked about that with a number of other coaches, but we always talk about how schematically smart he is, putting his guys in the right positions. I think he will have his guys in the right position mentally for this game on the road. Don't care that it's across the country. I think they handedly stomp the Panthers into the ground.
Love it.
I thought you guys would push back, and I would have to argue my point a little bit.
I'm probably going to regret this pick, but
I'm with you.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. We will go to, if my phone will pull it up, Packers and Bears, the biggest rivalry game of the playoffs. Packers are 1.5-point favorites on the road. Does Mike LaFleur, is LaFleur playing for his job?
Matt LaFleur.
Oh, Matt. They're the same. Aren't they conjoined twins?
Sure. Identical.
And Ben Johnson trying to plant his flag on the best Bears season since Nam.
Yeah, I mean, these two teams, they played each other twice in 13 days. Green Bay won it at home. They were able to close it out. And then Chicago won it in overtime. They were down 16-6 with 5:03 left in the fourth. You had the onside kick go disastrous for Green Bay. And Chicago was able to pull that out. Chicago's got 6 wins when trailing in the final 2 minutes, and that's the most since the 1970 merger. So they're well equipped to come back. How does that work in the playoffs? I mean, at least they've already done it against Green Bay. They led the NFL in turnover margin and led the league in interceptions with 23 of them. But they're 29th in total D. They're 31st in the pass rush win rate. And since week 16, they've given up 1,300 yards. So they're a very bend, don't break on defense. They just rely on, obviously, the turnovers. So if they get the turnovers, they'll be in good shape. If not, it might be a struggle. But here, the Packers, they're on a 4-game losing streak. They lost to Denver, lost to the Bears, lost to the Ravens. And they rested 16 starters versus the Vikings, but they lost. And they've lost the last 4 of the last 5 playoff games. So I like the Bears to cover this one.
The boomer bust nature of their defense, to your point, to me doesn't feel like a very sustainable way to win in the playoffs.
It's not. But
and you look at just their last two games of the year, giving up 42 points against San Francisco in a pivotal game for the 1 seed in the NFC where they couldn't stop anything.
Yeah.
Niners scored 3 points against the Seahawks the following week. And then holding the Lions to 19, but you can't score more than 16 points. You lose in the regular season finale for the Bears.
Odunze's back, too.
Odunze's back, but that's the problem. My issue is more with how the Packers are playing.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm with you. I'm going to go Chicago -1.5.
Agree with both of you. If the Packers are going to win this game, it is because they outlast the Bears. Jordan Love has had over 40 passing attempts twice this year. He is 0-1-1 in those games. If they win, it will be because of Jordan Love. I think they're going to be taken out of position to run the ball, at least on a regular consistency. I agree with both of you. I would take the Bears.
And obviously no Micah Parsons.
Which is tough because that was their calling card early in the season when we thought the Packers were a Super Bowl favorite. Their defense was smothering people. And they've just had a tough time figuring it out with their reserves. To the Bills and the Jags. Bills, 1.5-point favorites on the road. A lot of favorites on the road.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Story of the weekend.
Bills and Jags met in the playoffs, was it 3 years ago? And the Bills stomped the life out of the Jags?
Oh, was it?
No.
I'll do some research.
I have a stat on here because, I mean, look, Jags have 8 wins in a row, 9 out of the last 10. You know, they stomped the Chargers at home. They went to Denver and beat them 34-20. And the big reason for that is this win streak is Trevor is protecting the football. One interception in his last 6 games compared to he had 16 turnovers total in the previous 11. So he's been able to take care of it. I think adding Jacoby Myers at the trade line, they're kind of reusing Brian Thomas Jr. in a different way. I think it's made a huge difference. They're able to protect Trevor as well. Defensively, the Jags are 3rd in the NFL with QB pressures with 222, but they're 27 in sacks with only 32 sacks this year, but they're 2nd in interceptions. So that's kind of telling you they're able to get after the quarterback, not necessarily able to bring him to the ground, but it's enough to affect him to be, 2nd in the league in interceptions. So, Jags are 1st against the run, only allowing 85 yards per game, and they have not allowed a back to rush for 100 yards all season. Which is pretty crazy. But here the Bills, 1st in the rushing offense, 159 yards a game. James Cook is averaging a leaguing 3.1 yards before contact.
Rushing champ.
I thought Derek was going to get him, but he is the rushing champ. Bills are 5-0 in the wild card games since 2020, but all of them have been at home. But they're 0-5 on the road under McDermott in the playoffs. The Bills' D at home in the playoffs is 19.8 points per game, but on the road they're giving up 33.5 points per game. The last time the Bills won a road playoff game was, anyone take a guess? AFC Championship game versus the Dolphins.
Scott Norwood?
Oh, my.
I don't know.
We're going back to the 90s.
Yeah, I was 7.
You were a 7-year-old in Buffalo?
I was a 7-year-old in Buffalo.
What was it like?
Snowy and cold and losing 4 Super Bowls in a row.
Was that the 4th?
Yeah, it was the 4th. Last road playoff game they won was 1993 AFC Championship game.
Great year.
In Miami.
Year I was born.
James Cook, 1,600 yards. Very quietly, I feel like.
Yeah.
And all we talk about is Josh Allen when it comes to the Bills' rushing attack. But here's James Cook with a rushing crown for the first time in his career. We were talking about this earlier. Josh Allen enters this postseason. No Lamar Jackson, no Pat Mahomes, no Joe Burrow as an obstacle. What is the tenor? What is the vibe in Buffalo if they lose this game in Jacksonville as a Buffalo hometown kid?
Yeah, I was wondering, is Sean McDermott on the hot seat? I don't know. I mean, it's hard, too, because, it's such a fickle league. I mean, look what happened in Baltimore. If they make a 44-yard, field goal, Harbaugh's not getting fired. And so I think it's tough. And I think I feel for Josh Allen just because, you finally, this is the first time since 2017 Mahomes won't be in an AFC Championship game. And there's no Lamar Jackson. And so, when you really take it out, I mean, you have Aaron Rodgers with a ton of playoff experience. He's 11-10. But outside of that, Stroud is 2-2. T-Law is 1-1. All that happened in the same year. Herbert's 0-1, Nix is 0-1, and Drake May has never played in a playoff game. And so here's your year without Mahomes or Lamar, and you don't really have a lot of weapons except for your running back. Well, your 2 tight ends, Kincaid and Knox, are very solid tight ends, and then you have James Cook. But as far as your wide receivers go, there's really nothing. And so Josh Allen's had to create a lot on his own, which he's great at. But that's just a lot on your plate, especially come playoff time, and some of these defenses that he's going to have to go through to try to get to a Super Bowl.
This, to me, is the hardest game to pick of the weekend.
It's the one I'm most excited about, for sure.
And
yeah,
logic, to me, says that this is Josh Allen's postseason with all of those guys on the outside looking in, but that's also just not the season it's been in the NFL. So I'm not going to use that and rely on it to make this pick. I'm going to go with the team that's hot, the team that's running the ball and stopping the run. To your point, Trevor Lawrence playing the best football of his career. The Jags just feel like the more well-rounded team at this point.
Yeah.
They're at home. Give me Jacksonville.
Yep. Duval's going to be rocking.
I think Jacksonville stumbles out of the blocks. And the level of pressure has never been a good thing for Trevor Lawrence. I think the Bills figure it out, but I don't think they're longed for this playoff world. Sean McDermott is going to have to give one of his classic razz-em-up speeches that he is so famous for, and even that may not be enough. But I do think the Bills figure it out on their end. I would trust their 1.5.
Yeah, and to Brett's point, Sean McDermott never won a road playoff game as the head coach of the Bills.
And I was so wrong. It was the last time the Jags and the Bills played, 10-3 in the 2018 game with who at quarterback for the Jags?
Blake Bortles, baby.
Good old Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles.
Ripping cigs. 49ers at the Eagles. The Eagles, 5.5-point favorites. Another coach that potentially could be on the hot seat if the loss is bad enough. Eagles trying to overcome the spats that have been going on in the locker room. The 49ers trying to overcome a bunch of injuries. What side would you rather have?
Yeah, I mean, look, Vic Fangio's 40 years of experience on D is showing 19.1 points per game, which puts them at 5th, and they're just sound on all three levels, on their defense. And I just have to, Quinyon Mitchell, Toledo product. I had to do this. He's only allowing 0.7 yards per coverage snap this year. That's why he's a Pro Bowler. So, look, the defense is there, but the last time Hurts was on a field was in Buffalo, where he didn't complete a second half pass. Good news for Philly is the last 5 weeks, their defense has been struggling. They've given up 25 points a game, only had 2 takeaways. They're giving up 6 yards per play and a pass rush that has been non-existent, not only in those 5 weeks, but pretty much all year. But when Brock came back, week 11, the offense was averaging 30 points per game. But, that Seattle game, it was a banged-up unit. Obviously they did not play well offensively. And so can they recover from that game emotionally, physically, mentally, as they travel all the way to the East Coast? I think, what did you say, the line was 5.5 for Philly?
Yep.
That is correct.
That's tough. Philly's offense is not great, but I think the 49ers can cover.
I think 49ers win. I love this chess match of Kyle Shanahan versus Vic Fangio. And the Niners, it's just kind of been this, how do they keep getting away with it deal all year? No Brandon Ayuk, no Nick Bosa, no Fred Warner, Brock Purdy missing games. They just kind of keep on plugging and keep on winning. And ultimately, they fall short of the 1 seed. But I think they go into Philadelphia and win this game. I think Brock Purdy does enough, Robert.
I agree with you. If Brock Purdy is who he was at the end of the season this year, I don't think the Eagles are talented enough to make him make mistakes despite the injuries on the 49ers side. I side with you on that one.
Weird year in Philly.
You know what's crazy is Mac Jones played 11 games, 69.6 completion percentage, 7.4 yards per attempt. Brock Purdy, 9 games, 69.4 completion percentage, 7.6 per. Which is pretty crazy to have 2 quarterbacks come in, over a 17-game season and be that similar in their production. Pretty crazy.
Before we move on to the last 2 here, obviously you played in Philly towards the end of your career under Nick Sirianni.
Yep.
Same question for Buffalo. What happens to you? What is the vibe in Philly if the Eagles lose this game, you think?
Yeah, I'd be curious to see because really Nick, he's been there this is year 5, I think, for him, year 4 or 5, and he's only missed the playoffs once, and obviously been to the Super Bowl twice, won one of them, lost the other one, and I don't know. I think it's hard to fire a coach, after the playoffs. I feel like you kind of get behind the 8 ball, but it's been done. But I'd be curious to see what happens if they don't pull this one out. There's not a long leash at all in Philly. It is short. And this is one of those games where I think just the frustration of the way the offense has been all year. And then for them if they lose this first round matchup against San Francisco, which the last time they played them in a playoff game, I was in the NFC Championship game and we absolutely destroyed them. So I don't think they don't want to lose, but to lose in the first round like this, that would be pretty interesting to see what happens up there.
And Robert brought this up this week. If there's a mystery team that has a head coach in the bidding for John Harbaugh, man, wouldn't it feel like Philadelphia is a good candidate for it if they lose this game? And the reverse Andy Reid element of it, right? Where Harbaugh, after a great run in Baltimore, for that second crack at it, the way Reid had with Kansas City after ending his run in Philly. Yeah, that just feels like it might be written in the stars. But yeah, I think we've all got San Francisco.
Yeah. You have them winning. I just have them.
Oh, so you've got Philly winning, San Francisco
I think
covering.
so. Yeah,
okay.
I think it's just going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Could be, but I just don't think it will be.
I agree with you. It's probably going to be a punch you in the mouth game. Who can stand getting punched in the face the most in this game?
It sounds fun.
Maybe for you. I don't like being punched in the face. To what I think is the most interesting story of this first round of the playoffs, the Chargers at the Patriots. The Patriots are a 3.5-point favorite. The Patriots have been dominant this year against a bunch of high school kids. This is one of the first real challenges that Mike Vrabel will have for his very young Patriots team. I don't know how this is going to go. It's the game I have the least amount of read on because the Chargers, very similar to the 49ers and the issues they've had to deal with on their offensive line and injuries around the team as a whole. I'll give you this stat before I let you guys pick. PFF put this out. Sacks allowed by playoff offensive lines. Most of these teams, 22 and lower. This is how many times their offensive line has allowed the sack, not how many times their quarterback has been sacked. The Chargers in the playoffs have given up the most sacks by their offensive line with 29.
Yep.
That is going to be tough to do against Mike Vrabel, who with the Patriots, who are a 3.5-point favorite.
Yeah, it's. Look, the Pats. They've beaten two playoff teams this year: Carolina and Buffalo.
You're right. Two.
I mean,
were you going to say the Ravens?
Say the Ravens. That's fine.
No,
I'm sorry.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not. They're
sorry, Robert.
Not playoff team.
Okay.
They are not a playoff team.
But I mean, look, Chargers have also beat two playoff teams: Broncos, Eagles. But the Chargers D, 5th in total D. They're 5th against the pass, 8th against the run, and 9 in points. And the Patriots, they have a top 10 defense in all four categories. But the big thing, both teams are giving up less than 21 points per game. But look, Drake May, like I said, I think him or Stafford MVP, 4th in yards thrown, 72% completion, which is first, and 8.9s per completion, which is also first. But the Chargers have allowed the 3rd lowest completion, per attempt at 5 yards. They're not giving up the big play at all. The Pats finished 3rd in total offense and 2nd in points per game at 28.8. But which rushing D will show up for New England? The first 9 weeks, they only gave up 75.7 per game. And then weeks 10 through 18, they gave up 131 per game at 4.7 per rush. But weeks 11 through 17, there's no Milton Williams. So he'll be back. Hopefully he'll be able to help him out there on that run D. And you were talking earlier about sacks. I mean, look, Herbert's been sacked 54 times this year in 16 games, didn't even play in the last game. And their offensive line has had 29 different combinations. But because of that, Herbert's, clearly on the move a lot. He's scrambling, which has led to a career high for him with 498 yards rushing. But in New England, I don't think the weather's going to be great. And so I like the Patriots to cover this one.
I agree. I think Patriots win and cover.
Yep, same. Texans at Steelers, the ugliest game.
Yeah.
Texans are 3-point road favorites.
Yeah, this is going to be tough for the Steelers. Their run D over the last 4 weeks has kind of figured something out. They're only giving up 73 yards per game, and that was going against Gibbs, A-Chain, and Derrick. But their offense has been all over the place. They didn't score a touchdown versus Cleveland. They had 1 touchdown versus Buffalo and the Chargers. But in weeks 14 through 16, Baltimore, Miami, Detroit, they totaled 10 touchdowns. So they've been all over the place. But Aaron Rodgers, quickest snap to throw in the NFL, 2.62 seconds to get it off. But they're bottom in the league, only 5.7 yards per completion. So they're getting it off quick, but nothing deep, nothing explosive. So they rely a lot on screens, throws to the running backs in the flat. and they lead the league in yak. So 65% of their passing yards accumulated are the yak. But look, going against this Texans defense, top 5 in three of the 4 defensive categories, and the one they're not, they're 6th in the pass. Hunter, 15 sacks. Anderson Jr., 12 sacks. And so I found this stat, and it's a metric that can measure secondary play. And Houston's secondary finished first in this metric, which it measures the wide receiver ability to get open and then make the catch and then generate yak. So Houston pretty much covers you like a blanket, and they're first in that metric. And look, it might come down. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think it might come down to a field goal. Boswell's a great kicker in Pittsburgh, but Kemi Farabin in Houston has been there a long time. He's 44-48 this year. He attempted 48 field goals, 35 of 35, under 50, and he leads the league in scoring for kickers at 10.7 points per game. Winners of 9 in a row. The Texans, they've won against the Chargers, the Bills, and the Jags. So I think this is going to be a Texans cover and a win.
Yeah, to your point, Houston is going to get after Aaron Rodgers, but his ability to get the ball out quick, not only does it help them avoid sacks that set them back, helps them avoid holding penalties, one of the fewest, one of the lowest in the league at holding penalties. I don't think the Steelers just get totally shut down here. I think this game is a bit of a chess match that Mike Tomlin will make a difference here. I could see like a 24-20 type of final here, but I'm going with Houston to win and cover.
What do you think about DK coming back?
Right. DK Metcalf back gives them that explosive element, that yak that maybe they'd be much more limited with if he wasn't playing, but I just think that Texans defense is just too good. I don't know. I'm going with Houston at home. Yeah. Bert?
I don't care.
You don't.
Come on.
I hope they both lose.
Just give us just say the Texans.
Texans dominate the Steelers and let's break Rodgers back.
That's right.
This is our team.
Brett, thanks, man.
Care.
Absolutely.
Enjoy the football weekend.
Should be a good weekend for it.
Brett Kern in studio with us, as he is each and every Friday. We'll catch up with Brett next week. And there is some news for one particular quarterback on his status for the upcoming NFL draft. We'll tell you what that is as we wrap up the show next. Breathe it in. A football Friday, and we're running out. College football playoff semifinals tonight. Indiana and Oregon in Atlanta. Wild card weekend kicks off on Saturday, and we will recap it all on Monday. There is some news as we finish out the show. Trinidad Chambliss, after a heartbreaking finish to the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Ole Miss knocked out of playoff contention. Trinidad impressive throughout the course of the college football playoff. What a story. Transfers in from Ferris State. Was supposed to be the backup to Austin Simmons. Maybe Ole Miss would have used him in some certain packages. Ends up being thrust into the role. Simmons hurt. Trinidad runs away with it. Becomes a cult hero in Oxford. More heartbreak for Trinidad Chambliss. As ESPN has reported, the NCAA has denied Chambliss a 6-year of eligibility, ending his college career. And Ole Miss can't appeal the decision, but it seems like Trinidad is trending towards the NFL draft. So I ask, what does his NFL draft picture look like at this point?
He's fighting a lot of other similar size build guys, i.e. Taylon Green, for who is the most prototypical built-in-a-lab quarterback you could find, and I don't think he's the best at that either. Does anyone else feel worse today? The dude went to bed last night, a huge loser on national
poor guy.
national TV, and then he wakes up this morning thinking, you know what? Like, maybe I'll get another crack at this. Maybe I'll get one more time to strap it up and get an opportunity, and he wakes up and sees this news.
Or how about the NCAA waiting until, come on, man. You had to inform him today? Today? Hours after that game? You couldn't have done it 2 days ago, or maybe waited for the weekend? Come on.
Great job, kid, last night. Tough loss. Sorry to see it end that way, but by the way, sorry, I needed to tell you this. By the way, you don't get to come back and play again. See you in the draft.
Now, the fact that we have news on Trinidad Chambliss makes me wonder if there will be any news on Joey Aguilar today, Diego Pavia for that matter, so we'll stay tuned on that. I saw that Austin Price said on VolQuest today that Tennessee could potentially get news about Aguilar. A lot of moving parts there. Sam Levitt is taking a visit at Miami. He was at Tennessee earlier this week, at LSU before that. By the way, Washington quarterback Damon Williams is returning to Washington, another domino in this transfer portal.
Just kidding. I'm not leaving, guys. Just kidding.
Did you see this quote from Jed Fish, Washington head coach? He said, I support him, and we will work together to begin the process of repairing relationships and regaining the trust of the Husky community.
Someone who has not regained the trust of their community. This happened while you and Brett were picking games. Shams Charania, just an hour ago. For the first time, the Memphis Grizzlies are entertaining offers to potentially move two-time All-Star Ja Morant ahead of the February 5th NBA trade deadline.
There's already been a blockbuster trade in the NBA this week with Trae Young moving from Atlanta.
Which the compensation for that, I was like, if he was that cheap, I would have traded for him at the Zone. Have Trae Young in here. Have him and Slay go back and forth. He just goes to Washington for a fax and a can of Coke? Like, come on. CJ McCollum's good, but damn.
And just like that, by the way, right on cue, Pete Nakos has logged an expert prediction on On3 Sports for Ole Miss to land Auburn true freshman transfer quarterback Deuce Knight. Who spent a cup of coffee here in Nashville playing for Lipscomb Academy, who has hired a head coach. Trent Dilfer's return to Nashville after his stint at UAB.
Oh, it just burned him out. College burned him out, man. He couldn't handle it.
He's back at Lipscomb Academy where he won back-to-back state championships. News all over the place, football all over the place. It's a glorious thing, and you're running out of time to enjoy it. So please do this weekend.
Speaking of enjoying it, before we sign off here, because we do have a little bit of time, Brett Kern talked about leading the league in yak. There's only one man that I hope leads the city in yakking this weekend, and it's your roommate, Blue Curry. Happy birthday. I believe it's on Monday, but we will be celebrating this weekend, I'm told. I hope that he leads the city in yakking this weekend. Happy birthday, Blue.
He will appreciate that greatly. Fernando Mendoza, by the way, allegedly was at Magic City last night.
Shut up. What, handing out mini Bibles?
According to his Instagram story, he's eating lemon pepper wings.
No, he... Shut up.
At Magic City Kitchen. Go Fernando Mendoza on Instagram.
He just reads Playboy for the articles. Yeah.
What does it mean? Indiana and Oregon tonight for a spot in the national championship game. Appreciate you guys as always. We will recap the football weekend come Monday. Cover 2 coming up next.